Chapter 11:21. Yi Chen's Divine Tribulation. The Top 10 Ranking Battle, the first step, break through the realm. In this phase, the Ancestral God Temple will grant you a month. Within this month, all the divine pills, divine medicine, divine pools, and divine art in the Divine Mountain are available for you to use to break through realms and enhance your strength. But they cannot be taken away. After a month, the opportunity to break through the realm here ends. How far you can advance in a month depends on your own accumulation. In the Divine Mountain, after Emperor Liao finished explaining everything, he said to everyone, "Today, get into the right state and prepare for the breakthrough. Starting tomorrow, all the items for realm breakthrough will have their prohibitions lifted for you to use. The 1-month breakthrough period will officially begin tomorrow." After explaining the rules, Emperor Liao left the 4th layer of the Void God Temple directly. When Emperor Liao was explaining the rules to the top 10, a master of the Ancestral God Temple also descended into the Starry Sky waterfall space where the sovereigns and national leaders were located. He said to all the sovereigns, "The first step of the top 10 battle will last for a month. You should first take the other eliminated geniuses back to your respective divine kingdoms. The circumstances and final results of the subsequent top 10 ranking battle will also be projected virtually to all divine kingdoms, and you can watch them directly within your divine territories. The top 10 geniuses of the 3 major realms will be taken by the Ancestral God Temple to the Primal Beginning universe after the top 10 ranking battle, and won't return to their respective divine kingdoms for a short time. So, you don't need to wait for them." The words of the Master left the sovereigns and national leaders astonished. With just this step, the top 10 geniuses and the other eliminated talents already take vastly different paths. The other talents can only return to their respective divine kingdoms to continue training. Whether they can enter the Cosmic Sea or gain the favor of the Ancestral God Temple remains uncertain. But the 30 people on the 4th layer of the Void God Temple now are already going to be specially groomed by the Ancestral God Temple. Their future achievements might be unparalleled. After all, the current national leaders were never given such attention by the Ancestral God Temple. As for the performance and results of each divine kingdom in this stellar domain genius battle, the Ancestral God Temple will announce them to all divine kingdoms after the top 10 ranking battle is completely over. The Master said to all the national leaders, "Let's go." The arrangements of the Master could not be disregarded by the national leaders, and one by one they stood up, ready to meet their eliminated competitors, led by the Master. "We will also return to the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation." Yantian, sovereign of the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation, smiled and said to the East Territory King, Northern Territory King, and other sovereigns. Among all the national leaders, Yantian Sovereign was the most pleasantly surprised. Now, Yichun and Longli are each the first in the Star Domain Genius Battle's Battle of the God Kings and the Battle of the Divine Venerables, even if this first place is only based on the results up to the top 100 Grand Cycle battle. But both of them have made it strongly into the top 10 and have a big chance to seize the first place in both major realms. This is a result that Yantian Sovereign never dared to imagine before. Even though Yantian Sovereign always knew Yichun and Longli were formidable, this was a competition of geniuses from all the divine kingdoms in the universe. So he never dared to imagine Yichun and Longli could defeat all the geniuses. Now, Yichun and Longli have surpassed Yantian Sovereign's expectations. They have achieved an absolutely outstanding result. Of course, Yantian Sovereign was overjoyed. "My Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation's performance this time is even stronger than the strongest upper divine kingdoms." This achievement also excited the East Territory King, Northern Territory King, Sovereign Shuechen, and others to the extremes. "Let's go. Return to the Divine Nation. Announce this good news to Yichen's family, the disciples of the Supreme Divine Institute, and all the citizens of the Divine Nation. The current sovereigns of the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation no longer worry about being governed by the Upper Divine Kingdom Heavenly Wilderness Divine Country. This is no joke. The performance of the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation this time is several times better than that of the Heavenly Wilderness Divine Country. The Heavenly Wilderness Divine Country doesn't even have many in the top 100, while the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation has 2 top 10 competitors. This time, the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation might even be promoted to the Upper Divine Kingdom, and its status might surpass that of the heavenly wilderness divine country in the subsequent divine kingdom rewards. In such a situation, the Wanmu Mountain divine nation is certainly no longer governed by the heavenly wilderness divine country. All of this is thanks to Yi Chun and Long Li. Their cosmic-level talent is enough to bring endless glory to their homeland for countless ages. Amidst the envious gazes of countless divine kingdom national leaders, the leaders of the Wanmu Mountain divine nation left the starry sky waterfall space. Soon after, numerous ancestral god boats carrying the top 10 geniuses from each divine nation left the starry sky waterfall region and set course back to their respective divine kingdoms. Yi Chen, Sister Zhang Yao, Sister Long Li. Inside the flying boat, the little provincial princess Fang Luo watched the starry sky waterfall grow increasingly distant, her gaze filled with reluctance. The little provincial princess knew that as she returned to the divine kingdom this time, Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, and Long Li would remain inside the starry sky waterfall, and she feared that the next meeting might be a long, long time in coming. I really envy those top 10. Starry sky waterfall, primal beginning universe. I wonder if I'll ever have the chance to enter again in this lifetime. Within countless ancestral god boats, the eliminated competitors watched the starry sky waterfall becoming more distant, unwilling to avert their gazes. At this moment inside the starry sky waterfall, on the 4th layer of the Void God Temple, the top 10 true gods, divine kings, and divine venerables were unaware that the leaders and sovereigns of their divine kingdoms had already left with other talents. They remained within the starry sky waterfall, still preparing for the subsequent stellar domain genius battle top 10 rankings. Begin preparing for cultivation. Get ready to break through realms. After Lord Emperor Liao left, one by one, the geniuses took flight away from the divine mountain explained by Emperor Liao, starting to choose their own divine mountains for cultivation breakthroughs. Inside the 4th layer of the Void God Temple, there were countless divine mountains, sufficient for 30 people to use. Yi Chun, along with Zhang Yao and Long Li, also flew away from the explanatory divine mountain, arriving in the void. Before the trio departed, Chanqian, Long Ning, and others from the Longxian divine kingdom followed behind Yi Chun and the others, with Chanqian directly calling out to Yi Chun. Yi Chun, in the former top 100 recirculation battle, I lost to you. After the breakthrough, I am determined to defeat you again. Chanqian spoke brightly towards Yi Chun. I must at least reach the immortal divine venerable realm, Chanqian said confidently. When a divine king breaks through to the divine venerable realm, it is rumored that 3 locks within are opened. When the first lock is opened, one transforms into an earthly divine venerable. The second lock transforms into a heavenly divine venerable, and the third lock transforms into an immortal divine venerable. These 3 locks can only be opened through ultimate cultivation. For ordinary people, perhaps breaking through from the God-King realm to earthly divine venerable takes immense effort, and breaking through from earthly to heavenly or immortal divine venerable takes even more years. It might even stop at the earthly divine venerable realm for a lifetime. But a peerless genius like Chanqian, who can fight sovereign level across a large boundary, is certainly different. She has long understood all aspects of the divine venerable breakthrough, and even accumulated countless resources. She already stands at the peak level of the God-King realm, and with her preparation paired with the ancestral God Temple's preparation, she has absolute confidence in a major breakthrough upon her first attempt. Chanqian's words made Yi Chun smile and nod. In the top 10 rankings battle, we still have the chance to face each other. Whether you can defeat me, we'll find out through a good fight then. Watching Chanqian intently fixate on Yi Chun, the other top talents from the Longxian Divine Kingdom shook their heads helplessly. On Yi Chen's side, Zhang Yao laughed and said to Chanqian, "Little girl, you can compete with Yi Chun, but don't pine for my Yi Chun. Yi Chun already has me and Long Li, you know." Zhang Yao's words made Long Li's face flush instantly. Even the most powerful in combat, Long Li, still appeared as a gentle and serene girl in front of Yi Chun and Zhang Yao. Chanqian was quickly embarrassed at Zhang Yao's words, her face turning red. She turned to look at the other geniuses who wanted to laugh but dared not, and glared at them fiercely before speaking to Zhang Yao and Long Li. "I won't like that guy at all." With that, Chanqian was too embarrassed to say more to Yi Chun and flew away from this region. "Brother Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, Divine Girls Long Li, will leave now to prepare for the breakthrough. See you in the subsequent top 10 rankings battle. Long Ning and other top talents from the Long Xian Divine Kingdom, upon seeing Qianqian leave, quickly clasped fists towards Yichun, said a few words, and similarly departed. This little girl probably just wants to win against Yichun. No other intention. Seeing Qianqian and the others vanish from sight, Long Li finally withdrew her gaze, whispering to Yichun and Zhang Yao. You two girls, what nonsense are you talking about? Hearing Zhang Yao and Long Li drag on their uncontained words, Yichun pinched their cheeks vigorously before releasing them. This gesture, noticed by other top talents persistently flying away from the Divine Mountain, made many talents envy Yichun even more. All right, time is pressing. We should quickly choose a Divine Mountain to prepare for the breakthrough, Yichun earnestly said to Zhang Yao and Long Li. Seeing Yichun serious, Zhang Yao and Long Li stopped joking around. The trio immediately flew away from the explanatory Divine Mountain, heading towards a distant Divine Mountain. Finally, Yichun, Zhang Yao, and Long Li chose 3 adjacent Divine Mountains, entering directly to begin their breakthroughs. In the center of the 3 Divine Mountains, Yichun did not rush to look at the Divine Pills, Divine Medicine, and Divine Pool within the mountain. He ascended to the top of the Divine Mountain, seated in meditation atop it. Yichun's gaze fell upon the stars passing through the void above the Divine Mountain, observing the dazzling spectacle reflected above the starry sky waterfall. God King Realm, I have lingered far too long. The time has come to launch the charge towards the Divine Venerate Realm. Divine Venerable, in a month, I shall become Divine Venerable. It is rumored that cultivating to the extreme, each realm breakthrough and overcoming divine tribulation grants astonishing benefits. The more accumulation, the greater the breakthrough yield, with each person's tribulation rewards being fundamentally different. I wonder to what extent I can break through within the Divine Venerate Realm, and what sort of benefits I will receive from the divine tribulation. Chapter 11:22. Divine Venerable. Divine Venerable. Sitting cross-legged at the top of the Divine Mountain, Yichun's mind and spirit grew increasingly calm. Having settled at the pinnacle level of an upper god king for countless days, Yichun had enough confidence to overcome the divine tribulation, allowing his combat power to make another great leap forward. Yichun closed his eyes to rest, adjusting his essence, qi, and spirit to the utmost level. Then, he descended from the mountain peak and entered the grand hall of this divine mountain he had chosen. Yichun looked closely at the divine objects within the divine mountain, fully aware of everything. When the second day arrived and all the prohibitions on the divine objects were lifted, Yichun directly took dozens of items required for the breakthrough and returned to the peak where he would break through his realm. Then, Yichun sat cross-legged on the peak and began to summon the divine tribulation. The divine tribulation. It is the most mysterious phenomenon of the universe, experienced from true God to divine king, divine venerable, sovereign, and even at higher realms like divine master and master in the cosmic sea. The divine tribulation is a great secret of heaven and earth, a great secret of the universe. It brings endless destruction, yet also endless creation. The so-called destruction means that if one cannot pass the divine tribulation, at best all their cultivation will be lost. At worst, they will lose their life within the divine tribulation. All creation refers to how the divine tribulation has brought increasingly powerful beings to this universe, bringing more and more heaven-earth innate divine methods. When Yichun, who had accumulated to the extreme at the pinnacle level of an upper god king, summoned the divine tribulation, the trial clouds began to shroud the sky above the divine mountain where he was. It was not just Yichun. As Yichun began to summon the divine tribulation, all 10 top contestants from the other 3 realms also started summoning their divine tribulations on the mountain peaks. Each divine mountain stood far apart. From the 4th level of the Void God Temple, looking across the whole region, the 30 contestants' mountain peaks began to gather thick trial clouds, becoming increasingly formidable. At this moment, within the space at the highest point of the starry sky waterfall, the great power holders of the ancestral God Temple could clearly see the condition of the trial clouds above each contestant's chosen divine mountain. The denser and more vast the trial clouds, the more terrifying the eventual divine tribulation will be. However, the sudden progress it brings will also be greater. Even if they are all breaking from true God to divine king, from divine king to divine venerable, from divine venerable to sovereign, each person's divine tribulation is entirely different. The great power holders of the ancestral God temple peered into the divine mountain. When they saw that the trial clouds above Yi Chen's mountain were about to enshroud the entire divine mountain, thick to the extreme, these power holders could not help but widen their eyes. Yi Chen's divine tribulation is quite unusual. Looking towards the other divine kings at this time, the trial clouds summoned by the other divine kings were also thick and vast, yet far from comparable to the trial clouds summoned by Yi Chen. Even the shallow trial clouds could not compare to Yi Chen's. Just as the powerhouses of the ancestral God temple were exclaiming in astonishment, an even more unexpected event occurred. Although the trial clouds enshrouding Yi Chen had already completely wrapped the divine mountain where he was, they had not stopped gathering, continuing to gather. And as they gathered, these dark clouds began to transform into a brilliant starry light color. Starry light-colored trial clouds. One must know, even if the great power holders of the ancestral God temple had seen 3-colored trial clouds, 5-colored trial clouds, and even trial clouds of various colors, they had never heard of a divine king breakthrough summoning starry light-colored trial clouds. This is virtually a situation only seen when powerhouses of the cosmic sea are breaking through. Yi Chen's trial clouds are overly terrifying. Upon seeing this scene, all the powerhouses of the ancestral God temple stood up, without any joy, only profound concern. One needs to know that even the divine masters of the cosmic sea, when facing divine tribulation, run the risk of falling. Even though Yi Chen's current divine tribulation is not a genuine divine master-level trial cloud, this special color undoubtedly indicates a great terror within it, within which certainly hides great opportunities. But if Yi Chen fails to break through, there is a very real possibility he could perish. Yi Chen is one of the geniuses the ancestral God temple values most in the stellar domain genius battle. They would rather Yi Chen gain less from the divine tribulation than anything happen to him, so naturally, they are worried. Intervening in the divine tribulation, nothing can be done by others, otherwise it will bring greater disasters to the one undergoing the tribulation. Whether he can overcome this divine tribulation depends entirely on Yi Chen himself. For extreme geniuses, there are generally 2 situations when undergoing a divine tribulation. One is breakthrough with great realm leaps, the other is breakthrough with great crises. It seems Yi Chen is the latter. Finally, the great power holders of the ancestral God temple could only watch the divine mountain where Yi Chen was, murmuring. At this time, Yi Chen also felt a great crisis in his heart. Yi Chen did not expect that after successfully summoning the divine tribulation, he also discovered the 3-fold shackles within himself for breaking through to the divine venerable realm. But these 3-fold shackles were entirely different from the rumors. The rumor is that the shackles when breaking from divine king to earth divine venerable to heavenly divine venerable then to immortal divine venerable, are of red, purple, silver colors, locked within the body. But Yi Chen discovered that his 3-fold shackles were all gold. And Yi Chen found that his 3-fold shackles appeared countless times more terrifying than those in the rumors, as if a hidden space existed within them, the entire space being a shackle, blocking his breakthrough. Inside his body, it seemed as if there was a large space sealed, difficult to unravel. Chapter 1123. Yi Chen looked up again, and when he saw the terrifyingly dense tribulation clouds turn into a starry glow, his heart skipped a beat. Yi Chen had also heard about the anomalies that occur when true peerless geniuses break through the divine tribulation. It seemed to be a tribulation cloud of the great crisis type. Could it be because I cultivated the primordial star scripture, especially the Taiyu chapter of the primordial star scripture, making my combat power too fearsome, and thus the chains within me more terrifying? So, it has triggered the divine tribulation of a great crisis? It is rumored that tribulation clouds of the great crisis type cannot achieve a major breakthrough all at once. Safely breaking through even a small realm is considered fortunate. Does this mean I can only break through to the earth divine venerable? However, it is also said that after breaking through a tribulation cloud of the Great Crisis type, even a small realm breakthrough boosts combat power comparable to a major breakthrough, and since there are future breakthrough opportunities, the benefits are better than making several steps forward at once. Yi Chen's mind and spirit flickered like electricity, with thoughts constantly racing. Now Yi Chen couldn't afford to think about what realm he could break through to. All his mind and spirit were focused on resisting the divine tribulation. Because as the tribulation clouds started to transform into a starry glow, the real divine tribulation was about to arrive, and Yi Chen had already sensed it. Boom! Just as Yi Chen sensed the divine tribulation, in an instant, within the thick tribulation clouds in the void, a terrifying divine tribulation descended and struck down towards Yi Chen's head. Leading the charge was a thunderous lightning bolt that struck towards Yi Chen, an endless stream of lightning that instantly engulfed the area where Yi Chen stood. Such a terrifying scene was unprecedented even when divine venerable geniuses broke through to the sovereign realm from afar. However, who was Yi Chen? This was merely the initial divine tribulation, the weakest of its kind, and Yi Chen was certainly unafraid in the slightest. Yi Chen didn't even use the tribulation-crossing objects prepared by the ancestral god temple, flying directly into the endless lightning. Facing the divine tribulation head-on, Yi Chen let it all strike his body. And the moment the divine tribulation struck him, Yi Chen absorbed all the divine tribulation's power, transforming it into pure attacking force, bombarding the tri-layered chains within him. Only by breaking these chains could he transcend the divine tribulation and step into the divine venerable realm. If it were someone else crossing the divine tribulation, they would usually block most of the divine tribulation's power outside, only daring to absorb a small portion to aid transformation. But Yi Chen's method was to devour all the divine tribulation power completely, like a whale swallowing the sea. Thankfully, Yi Chen's physique was exceedingly strong, with the eternal god body and primordial star scripture having already metamorphosed his life, allowing him to remain unfazed while absorbing all divine tribulation power. However, even though Yi Chen devoured the entirety of the first wave of divine tribulation's power, it couldn't break the chains within his own body. Yi Chen was not surprised by this. Long before, when seeing the golden tri-layered chains within his body, Yi Chen knew that these chains would not be easy to break. Yi Chen's eyes shone brightly as he looked towards the resplendent tribulation clouds in the void, shouting in his heart, "Come, divine tribulation, bring more." Boom, boom, boom. As if sensing Yi Chen's power, the divine tribulation within the tribulation clouds in the void became even more terrifying. The next moment, a series of sword-like tribulation clouds with a killing force terrifying to the extreme descended from the tribulation clouds. Innumerable sword lights directly slashed down on Yi Chen. No matter how powerful Yi Chen was, this second wave, undoubtedly many times stronger, directly struck him from the void down to a divine mountain. However, Yi Chen, like a chaotic beast, wasn't hurt in the least bit. Yi Chen grabbed with his large hand, and the tribulation-crossing divine objects on the ground flew to surround his body. Among these divine objects, golden primeval fluid spread over Yi Chen's body, instantly seeping into his physique. There were precious divine flowers, whose blossoms emitted endless divine light, all dispersing around Yi Chen's body. And there were divine fruits like golden suns, which Yi Chen swallowed whole with a single gulp. Under the surging divine power of the tribulation-crossing divine objects, Yi Chen's entire being radiated divine light, charging back into the divine tribulation. Then, Yi Chen sat cross-legged within the endless sword light of the divine tribulation, with wave after wave of terrifying sword light continuously striking Yi Chen, seemingly endlessly, persisting for days. 3 days passed in an instant. Some top 10 true gods successfully crossed their divine tribulations within these 3 days, advancing to the lower god king realm. Some top 10 god kings broke through to the earth divine venerable realm within 3 days, having returned to the divine mountain, sitting in pools of divine liquid, accumulating rapidly in preparation for pushing towards the heavenly divine venerable. Of course, some top 10 divine venerables broke through to the sovereign realm, becoming true sovereigns. Yet, Yi Chun remained completely engulfed in the divine tribulation, and the tribulation upon him transitioned from endless sword lights to fiercely falling divine fire tribulations. 10 days passed following. During these 10 days, almost everyone except for a few individuals like Chanqian and Long Li had completed their first round of breakthroughs. Even Jiang Yao, in these 10 days, had consecutively triggered 2 massive waves of divine tribulations, and drew divine liquid from the divine mountain toward herself, directly breaking through from the God-King realm to the heavenly divine venerable realm amidst her wild breakthroughs. As the month-long breakthrough period approached its 25th day, Chanqian, who was also engulfed in the divine tribulation like Yi Chun, flew out from the tribulation clouds after her tribulation faded. At this moment, Chanqian had transformed starkly, evolving directly from the God-King to the immortal divine venerable. This kind of leap from an upper God-King directly to an immortal divine venerable was undoubtedly rare even among countless divine kingdoms in this universe. Chanqian's accumulation was unexpectedly so profound. Yet then, Yi Chun still hadn't completed his breakthrough, not even having broken through the first lock, as the 30-day breakthrough window was nearing its end. If he couldn't complete the breakthrough within 30 days, this breakthrough opportunity would be lost, and Yi Chun would be forced to stop halfway. However, immersed in the divine tribulation, Yi Chun's mind and spirit remained unshaken, as if he didn't realize time was almost running out, because Yi Chun's mind and spirit had reached the utmost focus, as the first lock within him was finally on the verge of being shattered. This was in the late hours of the 28th day. Like an aurora soaring out of the starry sky, like an extreme flame igniting in the snow. Engulfed in the divine tribulation, Yi Chun, having endured 81 levels of divine tribulation slashes, finally reached the point of breakthrough after hearing the sound of divine tribulation resound in his mind. Crack. When the 81st level of divine tribulation finally slashed at Yi Chun's first lock, the first lock within Yi Chun shattered directly, transforming into countless divine lights, completely enveloping him. Within the countless divine lights, Yi Chun's essence, qi, and spirit, the trinity of life signs, began to surge madly, and Yi Chun felt himself leaping into a new extreme. Divine Venerable. This was the sensation of life that only a divine venerable could have. Yet Yi Chun's experience of divine venerable was entirely different from others. Yi Chun, once a god-king, had directly become a divine venerable. Yi Chun sensed that he belonged to the Earth Divine Venerable realm, yet the life leap his Earth Divine Venerable brought felt more terrifying than that of many immortal divine venerables. Even though Yi Chun hadn't yet begun cultivation after the breakthrough, he could feel his eternal god body and heavenly forbidden flame naturally surging in combat power. Moreover, it wasn't just about realm breakthrough. As countless divine lights from the shattered first lock entered Yi Chun's mind and began interacting with the previously incomprehensible sound of divine tribulation, it ultimately materialized into a divine method. The heavens naturally occurring cultivation technique brought by the divine tribulation, the stellar terrestrial spin. This sort of self-born divine method of the world was truly a unique divine method, and after comprehending the stellar terrestrial spin divine method, Yi Chun's eyes widened in shock to the extreme. Chapter 1124. The Battle of Breakthrough. This starry sky earth rotation divine technique is surprisingly powerful for Yi Chun. Unexpectedly, it's a combat power augmentation divine technique. It can be applied to all combat power skills. According to the description of starry sky earth rotation, once fully mastered, its highest potential can surpass a tenfold increase in combat power. It is known that at advanced realms, especially the level of God King and Sovereign, many cultivation techniques are unique and cannot be influenced by others. This starry sky earth rotation divine technique can be applied to all cultivation techniques, doubling their combat power, which was truly surprising for Yi Chun. This means that once Yi Chun fully masters this cultivation technique, just relying on the combat power augmentation of the starry sky earth rotation will be enough for his combat power to make a great leap. Starry Earth Swirl. It's the innate divine technique granted by the divine tribulation when I broke through to Earth Divine Venerate. There are countless legends about the innate divine techniques granted by the divine tribulation, but I've never heard that such a powerful divine technique could appear during a sovereign's tribulation. Could it be because my divine tribulation was a great crisis tribulation that I got such an opportunity? Earth Divine Venerate, Starry Earth Swirl. According to the divine technique, the earth nurtures all things, and this divine technique is the earth's innate divine technique, nurturing endless cultivation techniques. Yichun pondered on the starry earth swirl, divine technique spell, murmuring to himself. However, the starry sky earth rotation divine technique is incredibly difficult to cultivate. Yichun, after sensing it for a while, knew how difficult this divine technique is, and felt that it would be hard to increase the combat power by even a single fold in a short time. The remaining time is not enough to continue breaking through to Heavenly Divine Venerate either. With my current combat power, forcibly breaking through won't be able to deal with the more terrifying Heavenly Divine Venerate tribulation, nor break the second shackle. Looks like I can only consolidate the gains from this breakthrough. Yichun looked up, watching the tribulation clouds disperse, then flipped his palm to check the timing device in the spatial divine artifact. Seeing that barely 2 days were left out of the 30-day breakthrough period, Yichun dismissed the idea of continuing the breakthrough. He leaped, like an extreme lightning, back into the grand hall of the divine mountain. Over the remaining 2 days, Yichun soaked in the divine liquid of the divine mountain, further enhancing his essence, qi, and spirit to lay a foundation for future breakthroughs. While soaking in the divine liquid, Yichun also began cultivating his various techniques. After breaking through to Earth Divine Venerate, aside from the innate combat power increase of that realm, many of Yichun's techniques also experienced new combat power changes. For instance, the Eternal Divine Body, Yichun had long mastered all 5 great divine patterns fully, but due to being previously in the God King realm, he couldn't unleash its full potential, so it wasn't at its strongest level. But now, after breaking through to the Divine Venerate realm, Yichun's combat power directly ascended to a higher level with the Eternal Divine Body. After sensing the new combat power level of the Eternal Divine Body in the Divine Liquid, Yichun nodded in satisfaction. Like the Eternal Divine Body, Yichun's Heavenly Forbidden Flame, ranked second in the Extreme Heaven Divine Fire list, could only refine a small portion of its might before. After this breakthrough, the combat power of Heavenly Forbidden Flame also saw a significant boost. Aside from the Eternal Divine Body and Heavenly Forbidden Flame, the Primordial Star Scripture Tai Chapter and Tai Yu Chapter's combat power didn't increase. It required Yichun to absorb more starry origin power and comprehend the space star aperture to enhance. However, in the Divine Mountain, there are many divine arts left by the Ancestral God Temple. Yichun directly chose a divine art extremely suitable for himself, a divine art related to swordsmanship, the Heavenly Sword Divine Art. Swordsmanship was the cultivation technique Yichun had been practicing since entering martial arts. His comprehension of swordsmanship is also the deepest. He further understood the principle of not spreading oneself too thin. Therefore, Yichun only selected this most suitable divine art from the myriad of divine arts left by the Ancestral God Temple. According to the instructions in the Divine Art section of the Ancestral God Temple, the divine arts here are mostly fragments, and only after reaching the Cosmic Sea could one obtain the complete version from the Ancestral God Temple. Yet, even as a fragmented version, the Heavenly Sword Divine Art is among the most powerful of countless divine arts. More uniquely, this Heavenly Sword Divine Art was created by a cosmic emperor of swordsmanship from the Ancestral God Temple, and if one could fully master the fragments left in the Divine Mountain, one might even consult that cosmic emperor on swordsmanship in the Ancestral God Temple later on. Cosmic Emperor. That's second only to the Star-Lord level. Also, an absolute pinnacle in the Cosmic Sea. Though Yichun has the primordial star scripture, he does not underestimate the divine arts created by the Cosmic Emperor. After all, at his current realm, the combat power of the Heavenly Sword Divine Art is sufficient for his use. My current main techniques are the Eternal Divine Body, Heavenly Forbidden Flame, Tai Chapter's Tai Divine Power, Tai Yu Chapter's Combat Power, The Great Sun Pitha Divine Sound Cultivation Technique and God-Devouring Transformation Secret Technique obtained from the preliminary elimination match, along with the newly acquired Heavenly Sword Divine Art and Starry Earth Spin. The techniques I can cultivate are already plentiful. The urgent task is to bring these techniques to the extreme. After summarizing his gains and techniques, Yi Chun directly began further cultivation in the cave mansion of the Divine Mountain. 2 days and a little more flew by like a snap of the fingers. In an instant, the 30-day breakthrough period had completely ended. A quarter of an hour before the end of time, all 10 champions on the Divine Mountain felt a heart-palpitating wave coming. This was the wave urging them to prepare to leave the Divine Mountain, a reminder from the ancestral God Temple. Sensing this reminder, Yi Chun, who was meditating within the divine liquid in the mountain cave, directly opened his eyes. With a shake of his sleeve, Yi Chun soared directly from the divine liquid into the sky. His clothes dried without wind, and then, with a single step, Yi Chun crossed out from the cave to the outside of the Divine Mountain. Yi Chun. At this time, from the 2 divine mountains on the left and right, Zhang Yao and Long Li also flew out. Yi Chun looked toward Zhang Yao and immediately sensed that Zhang Yao had broken through to the heavenly divine venerable realm. Looking again at Long Li, because Yi Chun's combat power was lower, he couldn't sense Long Li's realm, but Long Li, knowing Yi Chun's thoughts, directly revealed it. 4-star Sovereign Realm. Yi Chun didn't expect that in just 30 days, Long Li would break through to the 4-star Sovereign Realm. Clearly, Long Li's divine tribulation was a major breakthrough tribulation, aided by the accumulated items prepared by the ancestral God Temple and Long Li's own substantial accumulation, allowing such a vast improvement. It should be known that even for geniuses, breakthroughs require time accumulation. In just 30 days, many can only enhance a small level, and not as significantly as Yi Chun's enhancement, just an ordinary improvement. To improve 2 levels, like Zhang Yao breaking through from Upper God King to Heavenly Divine Venerable, is truly remarkable. Yet Long Li actually jumped from Immortal Divine Venerable to 4-star Sovereign Realm in one go, which is simply incredible. Zhang Yao and Long Li at this time also sensed Yi Chun's realm. Upon discovering Yi Chun had only broken through to the Earth Divine Venerable Realm, the 2 women were a bit surprised. However, in an instant, the 2 women realized that Yi Chun must not have simply broken through to the Earth Divine Venerable. There must be a significant opportunity in it for only a small realm breakthrough. After all, amidst Yi Chun's talent and combat power, no one understood better than Zhang Yao and Long Li. In the void, Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, and Long Li flew together, had a conversation, and then heard Emperor Liao's summoning voice. All 10 champions, come outside the Divine Mountain. Let's begin the ranking battle. Let's go. Yi Chun nodded towards Zhang Yao and Long Li, and the 3 of them flew out. As the 3 of them acted, the other 10 champions also flew out from their respective Divine Mountains. In a short while, the top 10 of the 3 realms had all gathered completely. As 30 people regrouped, the first thing to do was to investigate each other's breakthrough extent. All of the true God top 10 had now broken through to the God King realm. Among them, Zhuoshan Yu, who ranked first in the Battle of the True Gods Grand Cycle Battle, had even broken through to the Upper God King realm. Among other true gods, 3 had broken through to the Middle God King realm, with the remaining all at the Lower God King realm. The top 10 of the God King had also all broken through to the Divine Venerate realm. Qianqian broke through to Immortal Divine Venerable, while Mok Yi, Zhang Yao, Yuling Ruru, Luo Yuan, and Mu Shui broke through to Heavenly Divine Venerable, leaving the remaining 4, including Yi Chun, in the Earth Divine Venerable realm. The top 10 of the Divine Venerate had now all transformed into sovereigns. Long Li, 4-star Sovereign Realm. Long Ning, 3-star Sovereign Realm. Mok Wushang, 3-star Sovereign Realm. Moko Yi, 3-star Sovereign Realm. The rest of the Divine Venerate top 10 were all 2-star Sovereign Realm, with not a single one just breaking into 1-star Sovereign. It should be known that these are geniuses whose talents are extremely monstrous. Any one of them breaking through a small realm enhances combat power equal to the countless years of cultivation by an ordinary God King, Divine Venerate, or Sovereign outside. Now, not a few present have made breakthroughs of 2, 3, or even 4 levels, naturally causing immense amazement. The innumerable breakthrough divine objects bestowed by the ancestral God Temple, coupled with the breakthrough grounds of the Divine Mountain, are invaluable opportunities. Now, everyone has exhausted this opportunity. Yi Chun is only at the Earth Divine Venerable level? Many were somewhat surprised to see Yi Chen's realm only advancing by a small step. But without having sparred, they don't know if Yi Chun broke through ordinarily or amidst a major crisis, and simply cannot speculate about Yi Chen's current combat power. Among the God Kings, Mok Yi, who always longed to defeat Yi Chun, was also watching Yi Chun at this time. Mok Yi longed to fight Yi Chun again, to see if he had surpassed Yi Chun. At this moment, Emperor Liao looked at everyone and directly said, "Since the 30 days of breakthrough time has ended, now, it's time to begin the second step of the ranking battle, the breakthrough battle. This second step of the breakthrough battle will determine your final top 10 ranking in the Stellar Domain Genius Battle. After this battle concludes, the first place will receive the Ancestral God Temple's Cosmic Emperor level opportunity reward. The second to fourth places will receive the Overlord level opportunity reward. The 5th to 10th places shall receive the Divine Master level opportunity reward. These opportunity rewards will be greatly beneficial once you head to the Primal Beginning Universe. So give it your all to earn the highest ranking." Chapter 11:25. Rankings and Activation. Emperor Liao's words stirred the blood of everyone present. The 10 Strong Rankings battle is the stage for those who've made it to the top 10 in the Stellar Domain Genius battle, and indeed it has astonishing rewards. The first step is breaking through the realm, where the top 10 of the 3 major realms have enormous gains, and their combat power has increased immensely. Now, the second step of the breakthrough battle, where all top 10 are rewarded, even finishing last in 10th place grants a Divine Master level opportunity reward, while the best first place even has a Cosmic Emperor level opportunity reward. This certainly excites the top 10 from the 3 major realms. It's important to know that each realm fights separately, which means there are 3 first places, representing 3 Cosmic Emperor level opportunities laid out before them. This signifies that everyone can gain benefits, with the worst having Divine Master level advantages, which allows the top 10 to fight confidently and strive hard. The breakthrough battle for the 10 strong rankings will be similar to the previous 100 strong circular battle, adopting a 2-on-2 battle format. Each realm's top 10 will fight 2-on-2, with a total of 9 battles, and ranks will be determined based on results and victories. If multiple individuals have the same results, additional matches will be held. Seeing the excited expressions of the geniuses, Emperor Liao directly announced the specifics for the breakthrough battle. Moreover, Emperor Liao emphasized, the breakthrough battle is also the final fight in the Stellar Domain Genius battle. Therefore, this time, the 3 major realms will not begin their battles simultaneously. This time, the battle of the true gods will take place first, determining the specific rankings of its top 10, followed by the battle of the God Kings, and lastly, the battle of the Divine Sovereigns. Now, the top 10 in the battle of the true gods, step out and prepare for battle. At Emperor Liao's command, the previous top 10 from the True Gods Battle 100 Strong Circular Battle, including Zhuoshan Yu, Mok Chan, Yuming Jueju, and Long Chu, stood out. The current top 10 True Gods have all broken through and transformed into the God King realm. Their final battle is about to begin. Whoosh! When the first batch of the top 10 stepped out, Emperor Liao waved his hand, and 5 void dual platforms instantly appeared in the huge venue outside the 4th layer Divine Mountain of the Void God Temple. At the same time, a gigantic dual light screen directly appeared higher in the void above the dual platforms. The list for the first round of duels among the top 10 of the True Gods battle appeared directly. Swoosh! 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 After the duel list appeared, all top 10 from the True Gods battle flew onto the dual platforms, and once Emperor Liao ordered the battle to begin, the battles on the 5 major dual platforms commenced simultaneously. The first batch of fights for the Stellar Domain Genius Battle 10 Strong Rankings has officially begun. As the battle starts, the geniuses present were unaware that, in the space at the top of the Starry Sky Waterfall, the great power holders of the Ancestral God Temple were all observing this battle. Moreover, throughout countless divine kingdoms in this vast universe, after a month, widespread void projection occurred again, projecting this battle to all corners of the universe. Countless divine kingdoms and countless citizens gathered under the void projection light screen, watching the final phase of the stellar domain genius battle's creation of the 10 strong rankings. Unbeknownst to Yi Chun, in the Supreme Divine Institute of Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation, the national ruler of Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation, Northern Territory King, East Territory King, Sovereign Xuechen, and even Yi Chun and Zhang Yao's families, little provincial princess Feng Luo and others, were all gathered at the void projection spot of the Supreme Divine Institute, watching as Yi Chun and Zhang Yao, along with Long Li, were about to begin their battles. The entire universe is awaiting the creation of rankings for the strongest batch of people across the 3 major realms. At this time, Yi Chen, Zhang Yao, and Long Li were standing below the platforms, watching the first batch of battles of the top 10 unfold above. Yi Chun and Zhang Yao have already transformed into divine sovereigns and are no longer in the God King realm, but they still watch the battle of the true gods who've just broken through to God King, thoroughly engaged. These are, after all, the strongest batch of newly transformed true gods in this universe. Though their combat power is lower than Yi Chun and Zhang Yao's, their battles and cultivation techniques hold much to be contemplated. Among the top 10 true gods, Yi Chen's attention is naturally drawn to the first-ranked Zuoshan Yu. Yi Chun realizes that Zuoshan Yu is indeed an extraordinary genius. Although he has just broken through from true god to the upper God King realm, his combat power isn't much weaker than Yi Chen's was when he was at the upper God King stage. Compared to the other top 10 geniuses on the platform, he stands out greatly. The entire 9-round battle was exceptionally thrilling. In the end, Zuoshan Yu unsurprisingly claimed first place, leaving no chance for others to surpass his ranking. The first person to receive the Cosmic Emperor-level Opportunity Reward was born. Of course, besides Zuoshan Yu, the rankings didn't change much for the others. After all, they were top geniuses, and despite the breakthrough, everyone made great progress and the strong remained strong. Only 2 people's rankings changed, but they were both changes within the bottom 6 positions, and the reward was the Divine Master-level Opportunity Reward, so there wasn't much difference. After the top 10 of the True Gods battle concluded, the rankings for the first batch were directly established. Next, the 10-strong rankings battle for Yi Chun and Zhang Yao's Battle of the God Kings began. When Emperor Liao announced the second round of top 10 battles, Yi Chun and Zhang Yao stepped out directly. Yi Chun Yaoer. The battle is about to begin. The moment Yi Chun and Zhang Yao stepped out, the realm of the Supreme Divine Institute in Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation erupted in excitement. Yi Chun and Zhang Yao's families clenched their fists in anticipation. Chapter 1126. As the battle between Yi Chun and Zhang Yao started, those concerned about them were extremely excited. Everyone noticed that both Yi Chun and Zhang Yao had broken through to the Divine Venerable realm, becoming true Divine Venerables. Moreover, their combat power was even more terrifying than before. Even though their opponents also broke through to the Divine Venerable, their progress was clearly not as significant as Yi Chun and Zhang Yao's. Yi Chun and Zhang Yao, with the momentum of a thunderbolt, directly defeated their respective opponents. The subsequent scene was even more captivating. On Yi Chen's side, his first battle was against Zhou Shan from the Black Pole Divine Kingdom, the second against Long Yuan from the Long Xian Divine Kingdom, and the third against Mok Wang from the Mok Divine Country. These 3 battles, all between Earth Divine Venerables, saw Yi Chen's opponents completely outmatched, as he directly defeated all 3. Yi Chen's fourth battle was against Yu Ling Ruru from the Tian Yu Divine Kingdom, a match that stunned countless people. Originally ranked 7th in the Battle of the 100-Strong War God Kings, Yu Ling Ruru unexpectedly displayed extremely powerful combat strength, fiercely battling Yi Chun. Although Yu Ling Ruru broke through to the Heavenly Divine Venerable Realm, everyone could tell that her dramatic increase in combat power was not merely due to this breakthrough. She clearly had extraordinary techniques that she hadn't used. In her previous rounds, she won them all, even defeating Luo Yuan and Mu Shui, who were also dark horses having broken through to the Heavenly Divine Venerable. Yu Ling Ruru, worthy of being a top genius previously noted on the Star Domain God King list with combat power possibly not weaker than Moko Yi, had been hiding her strength all along, only unleashing it in the final battles. This battle reached the pinnacle of excitement. In the end, Yi Chun still overpowered Yuling Ruru. Even though Yi Chun was an Earth Divine Venerable and Yuling Ruru was a Heavenly Divine Venerable, her ability to defeat other dark horses still wasn't enough to match Yi Chun. This time, everyone saw that although Yi Chun had only broken through to the Earth Divine Venerable, the increase in his combat power was far more frightening than anyone else. In his fifth and sixth battles, Yi Chun faced the two dark horses from the Snow Spirit Divine Nation, Luo Yuan and Mu Shui. These battles were less intense than the one with Yuling Ruru, as both were also not a match for Yi Chun. Yi Chun achieved 6 consecutive victories. In the 7th match, when Yi Chun faced Zhang Yao directly admitted defeat and did not fight Yi Chun. However, even though Zhang Yao lost to Yi Chun, she won all her previous 6 matches. While Yuling Ruru had hidden strength and outstanding battle records, Zhang Yao was even stronger. After transforming into a Heavenly Divine Venerable, she further unleashed her combat power, becoming equally unstoppable. In the 8th match, Yi Chun faced Moko Yi, a match that left countless people astonished as Moko Yi was completely outclassed by Yi Chun. Previously, Moko Yi, who had broken through to the Heavenly Divine Venerable, had been defeated by both Zhang Yao and Yuling Ruru. Moko Yi, originally ranked first on the Star Domain God King list, now saw his ranking rapidly plummet. After the first 8 rounds of competition, Moko Yi had even fallen to 5th place. As the final round approached, this time, similar to the pinnacle battle in the Battle of the 100-Strong War God Kings, it was between Yi Chun and Qianqian. In the previous 8th round, Qianqian's opponent was Zhang Yao. In that battle, Zhang Yao, who had transformed into the Immortal Divine Venerable, fought Qianqian to a standstill, only to be narrowly defeated by Qianqian. Everyone could see that Zhang Yao, after potentially breaking through to the Immortal Divine Venerable in the future, might become even stronger than Qianqian. Now, in the final round, both Qianqian and Yi Chun had 8 consecutive wins without a single loss, and their pinnacle battle was reigniting. In an astonishing turn of events, during the Battle of the 100-Strong War God Kings, Yi Chun and Qianqian had already engaged in a fierce struggle. This time, after their breakthroughs, Yi Chun, as an Earth Divine Venerable, faced Qianqian, who broke through to the Immortal Divine Venerable, in an equally intense battle even more terrifying than the previous encounters. Ultimately, Yi Chun decisively beat Qianqian, securing 9 consecutive victories and ascending to the top of the Battle of the God Kings. When this battle concluded, everyone realized that Yi Chun, who had only broken through to the Earth Divine Venerable level, had evidently made this small breakthrough due to a major crisis, and his true increase in combat power was more frightening than anyone else in the arena, even Qianqian. Yi Chun, the second to take the top spot, obtained the Cosmic Emperor level opportunity as the first in the Battle of the God Kings. Qianqian and Zhang Yao, with 8 wins and 1 loss each, claimed the 2nd and 3rd places, each earning a Overlord level opportunity. The 4th place went to Yuling Ruru, who only lost to Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, and Qianqian. She also received a Overlord level opportunity. Moko Yi, Luo Yuan, Mu Shui, Mok Wang, Long Yuan, and Jiushan took the 5th to 10th places, respectively. As the top 10 rankings of the Star Domain Genius Battle God King contest were finalized, countless people were amazed. No one expected that besides the ever-powerful Yi Chun and Qianqian, Zhang Yao and Yuling Ruru would simultaneously rise to secure the 3rd and 4th places. While Moko Yi didn't even make it into the top 4, this result left the Mok Divine King's many regions in disappointment. However, within the Mountain Divine Nation and the 10,000 Beasts domain, there was a state of jubilation. The sovereign Yantian, the ruler of the Mountain Divine Nation, was extremely excited, having witnessed Yi Chun help the Mountain Divine Nation claim the 1st place in the Star Domain Genius Battle God King contest. After the Battle of the God Kings concluded, it was time for the final round of top 10 battles, the Battle of the Divine Venerables. After 9 rounds of intense pairings, the top 10 Divine Venerables, having all transformed into sovereigns, were finally ranked. This time, the sovereign Yantian was once again pleasantly surprised. Long Li, with the strongest combat power and highest realm in the arena, effortlessly secured another 1st place for the Mountain Divine Nation. the top spot in the Battle of the Divine Venerables. The top 10 rankings of the Battle of the Divine Venerables were identical to the rankings of the previous Battle of the 100-Strong War God Kings, without any changes. Long Ning from the Longxian Divine Kingdom took second place, Mok Wushang from the Mok Divine Country came third, and Mok Wuliang from the Mok Divine Country took fourth. As the top 10 rankings of the Battle of the Divine Venerables were finalized, the cosmic-wide competition of the Star Domain Genius Battle finally ended. The top 10 rankings of the three great realms were completely formed. This ranking flashed across void screens in countless regions of the universe, shaking the hearts of many. At this time, within the fourth layer of the Void God Temple, looking at the 30 geniuses in the arena, Emperor Liao, who presided over the cosmic-wide competition of the Star Domain Genius Battle, spoke, "The top 10 rankings of the three realms have all been settled. Tomorrow, the Ancestral God Temple will take you to the Primal Beginning Universe. Now, I will tell you the specifics of the top 10 ranking rewards, as well as details about the Primal Beginning Universe." Chapter 11:27. Chaos Origin Liquid, Stronghold, Scroll. Emperor Liao's words startled all the geniuses who were still immersed in the results of the 10-strong ranking battle. Tomorrow they would be going to the Primal Beginning Universe? Even Yi Chun had not expected that the Ancestral God Temple would be in such a hurry. Seeing the surprised crowd, Emperor Liao spoke, "This time, our Ancestral God Temple's founder, the Great Star Master, Lord Yuanwu, is extremely concerned and has specially arranged this. Not only will you receive various rewards and opportunities during the Genius Battle, but later you will also be given the chance to enter the Primal Beginning Universe. All of this is because the Cosmic Sea and major universes are now facing a life-and-death crisis. So Lord Yuanwu hopes that you, these truly outstanding talents, can quickly grow stronger." Emperor Liao's initial statement sent shockwaves through the hearts of the 10 strong. The Cosmic Sea and major universes are facing a life-and-death crisis? What kind of crisis? Could it be that not even the Star Lords of the Cosmic Sea can resolve it? Among the crowd, Yi Chun, hearing these words, felt his heart skip a beat. The others might not know the crisis facing the Cosmic Sea and the major universes, but Yi Chun knew it all too well. Could it be a crisis related to the Starry Sky Demons? Only the Starry Sky Demons could threaten the Cosmic Sea and the major universes. ZG Star-Lord went to the Azure Sky Star Sea, and my senior sister Qinglan Star-Lord also went to the Azure Sky Star Sea, all to battle the Starry Sky Demons. It's very likely that Star Master Yuanwu also went to the Azure Sky Star Sea. Very likely, in the Azure Sky Star Sea, the battle between the Star-Lords and the Starry Sky Demons is extremely fierce, which is why Star Master Yuanwu specially arranged for this special Stellar Domain Genius Battle to find the strongest batch of geniuses, allowing us to go to the Primal Beginning Universe to grow rapidly. With his mind and spirit racing, Yi Chun instantly guessed many things. While Yi Chun pondered rapidly, Emperor Liao spoke again. "As for the life and death crisis of the Cosmic Sea and the major universes, you're still too weak for me to say much about it. In short, remember that the journey to the Primal Beginning Universe is a great opportunity for you on the path of growth, so you must grasp it well. Next, I'll specifically explain the matters regarding the Primal Beginning Universe." As Emperor Liao spoke, his expression grew incomparably serious. Yi Chun, Jiang Yao, Long Li, and others all turned to Emperor Liao, listening intently. "You should all have some understanding of the Primal Beginning Universe," Emperor Liao said, looking at the 30 geniuses present. "That universe is too magical, even more so than many parts of the Cosmic Sea. Even the great power holders of our Cosmic Sea haven't fully explored the Primal Beginning Universe. We might have explored less than 1% of the Primal Beginning Universe's total area. Within the Primal Beginning Universe live countless terrifying creatures, and there are countless terrifying places. Of course, there are also countless special opportunities unavailable elsewhere. In the past, ordinary Dominion realm sovereigns couldn't enter the Primal Beginning Universe. One reason being the danger inside, and another reason being the special isolation of the Primal Beginning Universe, preventing even sovereigns from entering. Therefore, previously, It required at least a divine master from the cosmic sea to venture into the primal beginning universe. But recently, a cosmic emperor discovered something special in the primal beginning universe: chaos origin liquid. This chaos origin liquid, once absorbed, can allow the user to pass through the primal beginning universe's special isolation. This is why we can bring you, those below the divine master realm, into the primal beginning universe. However, the chaos origin liquid is limited and cannot allow everyone to enter. This time, only some major forces of the cosmic sea have been allocated chaos origin liquid. Like us, other major forces have selected the most outstanding talents from their managed universes to bring those geniuses into the primal beginning universe. This also means that once you enter the primal beginning universe, you must not only face its threats but also compete with other top talents from other universes to seize the opportunities of the primal beginning universe. Of course, the primal beginning universe is too dangerous for you talented individuals to roam freely. This time, after the major forces discussions, a consensus was reached to randomly assign you talented individuals to 36 strongholds within the primal beginning universe. After the ancestral god temple takes you into the primal beginning universe tomorrow, there will be a special teleportation method to randomly send you to one of those 36 strongholds. Once you reach your designated stronghold, the strong powers of the cosmic sea at those strongholds will arrange various training and exploration matters for you. Emperor Liao's words took everyone by surprise. Originally, Yi Chun and the others thought that the 30 of them would be uniformly taken by the ancestral god temple to one place for training, but unexpectedly, they would be scattered and randomly assigned to 36 different areas within the primal beginning universe. Doesn't this mean that it's very likely the 30 people present won't end up in the same place? Even if some are assigned to the same place, there might not be many. Moreover, will other universes' geniuses also go to the primal beginning universe? By then, the people gathered at the 36 strongholds would hardly recognize anyone, going to an unfamiliar and dangerous place, and surrounded by unfamiliar people. This made many of the geniuses a bit worried. Seeing their expressions, Emperor Liao understood what everyone was thinking. Emperor Liao reassured, "You don't need to worry too much. Those 36 strongholds are the places occupied by our cosmic sea within the primal beginning universe, much safer than other unoccupied places. As long as you follow the arrangements once you reach the stronghold, your life safety can be basically guaranteed. After all, the major forces brought you into the primal beginning universe to train you, not to let you die. Moreover, as I mentioned earlier, your rewards for the 10-strong ranking involve astonishing rewards, and these rewards are related to your safety. There are 3 types of rewards: Divine Master level, Overlord level, and Cosmic Emperor level. All 3 rewards are essentially special scrolls crafted by our ancestral god temple's great power holders in the primal beginning universe. Life-saving scrolls for your journey in the primal beginning universe. Of course, the effect of the life-saving scrolls differs based on the level of the reward. The Cosmic Emperor level life-saving scrolls hold the most powerful divine power, offering the highest number and level of life-saving opportunities. The Divine Master level life-saving scrolls are the weakest. This is also decided based on your abilities. After all, the strongest among you will have a larger area of activity in the primal beginning universe in the future, and the level of danger you encounter will also be higher. However, even though you have the life-saving scroll, I still need to remind you of 2 things. The first thing is, once the divine power of the life-saving scroll is exhausted, you will lose the opportunity to stay in the primal beginning universe. The ancestral god temple will bring you back and won't let you venture there anymore. Therefore, you must cherish the divine power of the life-saving scroll and not waste it casually. The second thing is, even though you have the life-saving scroll, and it even shows the level of damage it can withstand for you, you must not rely on it entirely. After all, there are too many dangers in the primal beginning universe, and it's very likely that even after exhausting your life-saving scroll, you will not be able to escape danger. This also requires you to be cautious and not let yourself fall into a major crisis. Otherwise, you won't even have the chance to escape, Emperor Liao seriously admonished. The Chaos Origin liquid enables the talents of various universes to enter the primal beginning universe. The 36 strongholds are where all the talents will go, where the power holders of the cosmic sea will arrange training for the talents. The life-saving scrolls obtained according to rankings will help the talents preserve their lives in the primal beginning universe. Once the divine power of the life-saving scroll is exhausted, the qualification for exploration in the primal beginning universe will also be revoked. Emperor Liao's words were firmly remembered by Yi Chen and the others. Yaoer, Lear. If we enter the primal beginning universe and are not teleported to the same stronghold, you must be careful. Yi Chen transmitted to Zhang Yao and Long Li. Especially Zhang Yao, Yi Chen was even more worried. Yi Chen and Long Li both have Cosmic Emperor-level life-saving scrolls, while Zhang Yao only has a Overlord-level life-saving scroll, which means Zhang Yao's ability and times to withstand danger are much less. Seeing Yi Chen's worried expression, Zhang Yao smiled gently and said, Yi Chen, don't worry about me. After reaching the primal beginning universe, I'll be very careful. Cultivation is important, but safety is even more important. I understand. Long Li also gently nodded, holding Yi Chen's hand. Yi Chen worried for Zhang Yao and Long Li, and the two women also worried for Yi Chen. Even though Yi Chen is a top-notch genius, his current combat power can contend with an ordinary high-level sovereign lord, but after all, they are venturing into the primal beginning universe, where even the divine master overlord does not guarantee safety, let alone Yi Chen. Yi Chen, you must be careful too, Zhang Yao and Long Li also said to Yi Chen. In the field, not only Yi Chen, Zhang Yao, and Long Li were transmitting messages, but other talents from the divine kingdoms were either transmitting warnings to each other or reminding themselves silently. At this moment, Emperor Liao looked at everyone and said, Let's go. I'll take you to receive the Chaos Origin liquid and life-saving scroll. Rest for a day today. Tomorrow, we officially set off for the primal beginning universe. More than half an hour later, inside a special space within the starry sky waterfall in a huge room, Yi Chen, Zhang Yao, and Long Li sat cross-legged inside. Beside the three, the companions Xiaojiu, Shuanger, and Little Monkey, who had been with Yi Chen and Zhang Yao, also appeared in the room. Xiaojiu and Shuanger had been accompanying Yi Chen and Zhang Yao since the Undersea Divine Palace in the Minor Spirit Realm. Little Monkey had been accompanying Yi Chen since the barbaric wilderness continent. But this time, going to the primal beginning universe, Yi Chen and Zhang Yao had no choice but to part with them. Because only life forms below the Divine Master Realm who absorbed the Chaos Origin liquid could enter the primal beginning universe, and Yi Chen and Zhang Yao were only allocated their own Chaos Origin liquid, making it impossible to bring Xiaojiu, Shuanger, and Little Monkey into the primal beginning universe. Not only Yi Chen and Zhang Yao, but when distributing the Chaos Origin liquid, the Ancestral God Temple had reminded all talents to entrust their spiritual pets to the Ancestral God Temple for care. Xiaojiu, Shuanger, Little Monkey, you already know about the three of us going to the primal beginning universe. During the time we are in the primal beginning universe, you will follow the people from the Ancestral God Temple and train well. We'll come to pick you up when we return from the primal beginning universe. Yi Chen said to Xiaojiu, Shuanger, and Little Monkey. Yi Chen, you all have to pay attention to safety when you go to the primal beginning universe. Xiaojiu, Shuanger, and Little Monkey all nodded repeatedly, also admonishing Yi Chen to stay safe. Especially Xiaojiu, who had been with Yi Chen, traversing countless realms, witnessing Yi Chen's life and death crises, whether in the Nine Suns ancient land when he met Long Li or during the encounter with the Starry Sky Demon in the True Spirit Divine Kingdom. Thinking about parting temporarily with Yi Chen, Xiaojiu, a member of the Nine Spirits Sparrow clan, couldn't help but shed tears. After settling Xiaojiu, Shuanger, and Little Monkey, Yi Chen, Zhang Yao, and Long Li seriously looked at the life-saving scrolls distributed to them. Early the next morning, the three left the room and came to the meeting place arranged by the Ancestral God Temple. The moment to head towards the primal beginning universe has finally arrived. Chapter 1128 Blue Gold City. When Yi Chen, Zhang Yao, and Long Li arrived at the assembly point, others were also making their way there. Before long, all 30 contestants across the 3 realms of this stellar domain genius battle had gathered. Soon after, Emperor Liao arrived at the assembly point with 2 others. These 2 are Lord Dun and Lord Emperor Shang. Like me, they are cosmic emperors of our ancestral god temple. However, they have been cultivating in the primal beginning universe. For this journey to the primal beginning universe, they will be your guides. Emperor Liao introduced the 2 individuals to Yi Chun and the others. Yi Chun looked towards the 2. Lord Dun was a burly middle-aged man, while Lord Emperor Shang was an elder. After Emperor Liao finished the introduction, Lord Emperor Shang stepped forward. He nodded to Emperor Liao, then addressed the 30 talents. This journey to the primal beginning universe will be divided among 36 bases. You 30 will be randomly assigned to these bases. Regarding the 36 bases and the geniuses from other universes who will also be heading to the primal beginning universe, I do not plan to inform you. Once you reach the primal beginning universe, you will need to rely on your own exploration and inquiries. This itself will serve as a form of training for you. As Lord Emperor Shang spoke, the other cosmic emperor, Lord Dun, his eyes suddenly shot forth divine light. Instantly, Yi Chun and the others felt a mysterious halo emanating from their bodies. This halo was precisely the effect of absorbing the chaos origin liquid distributed by the ancestral god temple. Seeing the halo appear on everyone present, Lord Dun nodded to Lord Emperor Shang. The chaos origin liquid within you has been absorbed. You're ready to enter the primal beginning universe, Lord Emperor Shang continued. Since that's the case, there's no time to lose. Everyone follow us to the primal beginning universe. As he spoke, Lord Emperor Shang waved his hand, and a peculiar ancient, tawny flying boat appeared in the air above the assembly point. Board the flying boat, Lord Dun immediately called out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The war divine venerable of the Mok divine country, Mok Wushang, who placed 3rd in the star domain genius battle, was the first to fly towards the flying boat. Seeing this, the others also took flight, swiftly boarding the flying boat. After seeing all 30 talents aboard, Emperor Liao addressed everyone from outside. I will be waiting for you at the Starry Sky Waterfall. After you return from the primal beginning universe, the ancestral god temple will have further arrangements for you. I hope you all remain safe in the primal beginning universe and achieve great success. Also, the rulers of your respective divine kingdoms left many things for you when they returned to the divine kingdom. These are mostly rewards for your performance in the stellar domain genius battle. However, these items will be given to you after you return from the primal beginning universe. Emperor Liao's words stirred countless thoughts in Yi Chun and the others' minds. Unknowingly, the stellar domain genius battle had concluded. Now, it's time to head to the primal beginning universe. Both the Starry Sky Waterfall and the more familiar divine kingdom would be left far behind. Everyone felt reluctant to leave their divine kingdom, yet they didn't want to return too soon from the primal beginning universe. The earlier you return, the sooner you exhaust the life-saving scroll's divine power, losing the opportunity to adventure in the primal beginning universe. Better to spend more time in the primal beginning universe. Become stronger, then return to the Starry Sky Waterfall, and then back to the divine kingdom. These thoughts filled the hearts of the 10 top geniuses. Yi Chun was also filled with swirling emotions. Once leaving, he didn't know when he might return to the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation, having just reunited with his family, only to part again. Hopefully, when I return, I'll not only be an Earth Divine Venerable but have progressed to a Heavenly Divine Venerable, an Immortal Divine Venerable, or even the Supreme Sovereign Realm. Yi Chun brimmed with hope. Prepare to depart. As Emperor Liao waved farewell to everyone, and as Yi Chun, Zhang Yao, and Long Li held hands to journey through the primal beginning universe together, the commanding voices of Lord Dun and Lord Emperor Shang echoed. Following this, the group of talents felt the flying boat accelerate rapidly, embarking beyond the Starry Sky Waterfall. Primal beginning universe. It is the most mysterious universe among the countless universes surrounding the cosmic sea. Its distance is multiple times farther than from the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation to the Starry Sky Waterfall. After all, the Starry Sky Waterfall and the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation are within the same universe. But between the primal beginning universe and the universe where Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation is located, lie innumerable other universes. Sitting on the flying boat driven by the two cosmic emperors, Yi-chan and others felt it was more mysterious and faster than the ancestral god boat they had previously seen. The flying boat even seemed capable of traversing through endless black holes and crossing unknown realms. Amidst the flashing extreme lights, Yi-chan and others gradually found it impossible to clearly see the outside, only sensing continuous extreme brilliance flashing by. It was unclear how long it passed before Yi-chan finally felt the flying boat slow down. Looking outside, he could see the flying boat was passing through a peculiar black passage, progressing onward. This black passage had nothing visible surrounding it, resembling a unique teleportation space. Again, it took several days for the flying boat to finally pass through this black channel and enter a dazzling starry sky with countless twinkling stars. Gazing at the myriad stars, Yi-chan knew that this place was definitely not the universe where Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation was located. Rather, it was likely the realm of the primal beginning universe. As expected, as Yi-chan and the others were examining the starry sky outside, Lord Dyuen spoke up. "We have now arrived at the outermost star world of the primal beginning universe. Soon, we will proceed to the Divine Pole Light Formation area. That Divine Pole Light Formation is a teleportation divine formation established by our major forces. There, each of you will be randomly teleported to one of the 36 locations." As Lord Dyuen was speaking, the flying boat continued to fly forward. Before long, Yi-chan saw an extraordinary space, resembling a giant disk, appearing ahead. "We've arrived at the Divine Pole Light Formation. Disembark from the flying boat." At the words of Lord Dyuen, Yi-chan and the others all flew down from the flying boat. At this time, another cosmic emperor, Lord Emperor Shang, pointed to the extraordinary space of the giant disk in front, also speaking, "Don't be afraid. The extraordinary space ahead is a teleportation divine formation arranged by all major forces of the cosmic sea, the Divine Pole Light Formation. This Divine Pole Light Formation specifically leads to 36 locations, and we have set it to random teleportation mode. Now, enter the Divine Pole Light Formation, one by one, and prepare to be teleported to the regions of the primal beginning universe you are destined for." While speaking, Lord Emperor Shang had a list in his hand, glanced at it, and then directly looked at Long Li beside Yi-chan. "Long Li, you are the first-place winner of this Stellar Domain Genius Battle, so you will be the first to be teleported." Upon hearing Lord Emperor Shang's words, Long Li tightened her grip on Yi-chan's hand. Yi-chan also held Long Li's hand tightly and said to her, "Lear, go ahead. Who knows, we might be teleported to the same location in the primal beginning universe. Even if not, we might have a chance to meet later in the primal beginning universe. Don't worry, we'll be fine." Hearing Yi-chan's voice, Long Li felt much calmer. She gently nodded at Yi-chan, gave Zhang Yao's hand a tug, and then stepped toward the Divine Pole Light Formation. As Long Li stepped into the Divine Pole Light Formation, the next moment, everyone felt the Divine Pole Light Formation ahead suddenly flash with divine light, and Long Li instantly vanished. Long Li has gone to the third location, the Extreme Ice God City. A few moments later, Yi-chan heard the voices of Lord Dyuen and Lord Emperor Shang. Then, the two cosmic emperors looked at Long Ning beside Chanqian and spoke. "The second to be teleported is from the Long Xian Divine Kingdom, Long Ning." Subsequently, one prodigy after another entered the Divine Pole Light Formation and disappeared through teleportation. Listening to the two cosmic emperors announce the names of the teleportation locations for everyone, almost everyone ended up at different places. As expected, with 36 locations and 30 people to be teleported, they rarely teleported to the same spot. After the 10 top divine venerables finished teleporting, Yi-chan's name was also called out by the two cosmic emperors. Yi-chan took a deep breath, patted Zhang Yao's hand, and under her watchful gaze of nervousness, stepped into the Divine Pole Light Formation. The next moment, Yi-chan only felt a dizzying sensation, A powerful force surged him away at an extreme speed toward an unknown location. After an unknown period, Yi-chun finally regained his senses. When he gathered himself again, Yi-chun found himself standing on a massive light formation, which was inside a room. Welcome, genius from the celestial spirit universe. Welcome to the primal beginning universe. To the 19th location, Blue Gold City. Come out, please rest for a while in the side hall. After all the cosmic geniuses have arrived, we will arrange your subsequent tasks. Yi-chun was scrutinizing the room where the massive light formation was, suddenly hearing a voice ring out from within the house. With that, a passage appeared directly in the room. Following the passage to a great hall, Yi-chun found that 19 people had already gathered in the hall. Another genius has arrived. Earth Divine Venerate Realm. Not too strong, actually. I wonder which universe he's from. I don't recognize him. He's not from our Tiangong universe. Low murmurings of discussion rose. Among the 19 people, male and female, all curiously examining Yi-chun. Yi-chun also observed these 19 people, and he found that he couldn't sense the realm of 15 of them. It must be known that lower realms cannot sense the specific realms of higher ones. This indicates that at least 15 people had realms higher than his. At this moment, a young man, also at the Earth Divine Venerate realm like Yi-chun, walked up to him and warmly greeted, "Brother, which universe are you a genius from?" "I'm Qianli Yuyu from the Tianwu universe, under the jurisdiction of Extreme Witch Mountain of the Cosmic Sea's major forces." Yi-chun looked at this enthusiastic young man, smiled, and nodded, saying, "I'm Yi-chun, from the Celestial Spirit Universe, under the jurisdiction of the Ancestral God Temple." When Yi-chun mentioned the Ancestral God Temple, the gazes of the others on Yi-chun immediately changed. Qianli Yuyu also perked up and smiled at Yi-chun, saying, "So you are the friend Yi-chun dispatched by the Ancestral God Temple to the Primal Beginning Universe for cultivation. Ancestral God Temple is ranked 3rd among the 36 joint major forces. Friend Yi-chun, you must look after your little brother in the future." Chapter 1129, Gathering of Geniuses. The words of Qianli Yuyu, along with the gaze of others, made Yi-chun's mind and spirit stir. 36 allied major forces? Earlier at the Starry Sky Waterfall, experts like Emperor Liao and Lord Emperor Shang mentioned that during this visit to the Primal Beginning Universe, many cosmic talents from the major forces across the cosmic sea would come together. However, Lord Emperor Shang did not specify the details, only suggesting that Yi-chun and others inquire on their own. Now, according to Qianli Yuyu's words, there are a total of 36 major forces? No wonder there are 36 bases for the talents to choose from. It seems the numbers hold special significance. Additionally, the Ancestral God Temple ranks 3rd among the 36 allied forces. Yi-chun had not visited the Cosmic Sea and did not know the level of the Ancestral God Temple within the Cosmic Sea, only that it's from a major force. Now it seems the Ancestral God Temple is quite strong in the Cosmic Sea. Just as Yi-chun's mind and spirit were racing, a disdainful voice came from the side. "The Ancestral God Temple is strong, but that doesn't mean the talents under it are strong. It's just an Earth Divine Venerable. Qianli Yuyu, flattering like this surely embarrasses your sister, Qianli Xiao, and disgraces our Tianwu universe, right?" Looking toward the source of the voice, he saw a divinely handsome young man raising his eyebrows at Yi-chun and Qianli Yuyu. "I'm just making friends, not flattering. Wu Jinong, you're no match for my sister, so don't vent your anger on me." Qianli Yuyu straightforwardly retorted without hesitation at the words of the divinely handsome youth. At the same time, Qianli Yuyu sent a message explaining to Yi-chun, "Yi-chun, this is Wu Jinong, a genius divine venerable of the Wuji race, the top tribe of our Tianwu universe. Originally, he was most favored to win first place in our universe's stellar domain genius battles divine venerable war, but he lost to my sister, settling for second place. Probably he's very discontent and dares not say anything to my sister, so he's taking it out on me. Yi-chun, you don't need to concern yourself with him." "Ugh, what bad luck. Originally said we'd be scattered at 36 bases with our Tianwu universe talents unlikely to be together. but ended up getting one from the same universe. Unfortunately, it's this Wu Jinong. Just terribly unlucky. Qianli Yuyu's explanation instantly enlightened Yi Chen. It seems that the Tianwu universe, like Yi Chen's own celestial spirit universe, also has talent selections through stellar domain genius battles, along with various competitions. No worries, it's nothing. Yi Chen smiled and replied to Qianli Yuyu. But Yi Chen, while Wu Jinong might lack demeanor, he's indeed formidable, placing just below my sister in our universe's strongest divine venerable battle, claiming second place. His combat power is much stronger than mine, now already at a 3-star sovereign realm, stronger than many ordinary 9-star sovereigns. If he doesn't like us, let him be, we don't have to provoke him. In the primal beginning universe, he wouldn't dare to really act against us. Qianli Yuyu reminded Yi Chen. Yi Chen smiled and nodded. I've come to the primal beginning universe to cultivate, not to intentionally get involved in any disputes. If no one provokes me, I won't bother others. Yi Chen's words left Qianli Yuyu momentarily stunned. He felt that Yi Chen's tone implied if someone truly provoked him, he also appeared fearless. It seems the talents under the ancestral god temple are not just simple earth divine venerables. There should be some strong hidden cards. Qianli Yuyu pondered internally. While Yi Chen and Qianli Yuyu were exchanging messages, Wu Jinong, observing their demeanor, felt a blow stifled in his heart. Unknown to Yi Chen, he couldn't directly target him, but looking again toward Qianli Yuyu, he bluntly said, Qianli Yuyu, originally seeing we're from the same universe, I thought of taking care of you here in the primal beginning universe. Now, it seems you don't need my help. After speaking, Wu Jinong snorted coldly and moved to the side. Upon hearing Wu Jinong's words, Qianli Yuyu shrugged helplessly. Indeed, as Wu Jinong said, if he from the same universe who secured second place in the divine venerable battle of the stellar domain genius battle took care of Qianli Yuyu, his exploration in the primal beginning universe would indeed be far more assured. Now it seems, Qianli Yuyu has directly lost this opportunity. Nevertheless, Qianli Yuyu wouldn't care much. He came to the primal beginning universe intending to rely on himself to cultivate, without plans to depend on others. Fostering a friendship with Yi Chen was simply due to his nature, wanting to meet more talents from other universes. The minor dispute between Qianli Yuyu and Wu Jinong wasn't significant. The other talents from various universes merely coldly observed without intervening. After all, everyone was new to the primal beginning universe and still unfamiliar with the place. Though they were exceptional talents, they wouldn't voluntarily seek trouble. Shortly after Yi Chen's arrival, figures began gathering at the outer hall. Qianli Yuyu was sociable, bidding Yi Chen farewell before mingling with the other newcomers. Yi Chen listened to the conversations of various cosmic talents nearby, gathering a substantial amount of information. This exploration of the primal beginning universe involves a total of 36 major forces controlled 36 cosmics. Each cosmic dispatched 30 talents into the primal beginning universe. Calculating it, on average, each of the 36 bases consists of 30 people. Moreover, these 30 people typically don't come from the same cosmic, making cases like Qianli Yuyu and Wu Jinong being from the same cosmic indeed rare. At the same time, Yi Chen also gained some understanding of the 36 major forces. Among the 36 major forces, a faction named Primordial God Mountain ranked first, followed by Linglong Divine Land in second place, and Yi Chen's Ancestral God Temple ranked third, followed by other forces like Tianzong Temple, Wucang Gate, and so on. These 36 major forces typically occupy a dominant position at one of the bases, and naturally, each major force has powerful figures stationed within each base. The 19th base, Blue Gold City, where Yi Chen is located, is coincidentally dominated by Primordial God Mountain, the top-ranked major force, with other forces in supporting roles. It is said that Primordial God Mountain has a large number of divine masters and masters in Blue Gold City, and even the number of cosmic emperors in Blue Gold City far exceeds that of other forces. The gathered geniuses in the side hall were all discussing that when venturing into this base, one should keep a low profile and silently cultivate, avoiding unnecessary trouble. On one hand, Primordial God Mountain is the strongest among the forces, and the geniuses from other forces cannot compare to them. On the other hand, there are simply too many strong figures in Blue Gold City. Although Blue Gold City is the 19th base, the ranking of the bases is not determined by strength. It is said that Blue Gold City is likely the base with the largest jurisdiction area among the 36 bases. Even the most talented geniuses in the field are only in the Sovereign, Divine Venerate, or even God King realm, facing a large number of Divine Masters, and Cosmic Emperors. They are indeed very weak. Amidst the discussions among the geniuses, those assigned to Blue Gold City gradually arrived. Among them, when a genius from the heavenly origin universe, under the jurisdiction of the top-ranked force Primordial God Mountain, arrived, it caused a great commotion. This genius, named Yushindu, was actually the first-place super genius in the Stellar Domain Genius Battle from the heavenly origin universe. This Yushindu has even broken through to the 5-star Sovereign realm, and it is said his combat power can even compete with mid-level Divine Masters. This caused most of the other geniuses from various universes to be deeply shaken. Even Wu Jinong, who sarcastically taunted Qianli Yuyu, was extremely polite to Yushindu, even actively ingratiating himself. After all, this is the home ground of Primordial God Mountain, and Yushindu being the strongest genius from the universe under its jurisdiction will obviously receive great care and attention here, so others naturally dare not easily offend. Yushindu's combat power alone is enough to instill fear among the geniuses. However, Yushindu was dignified and of outstanding temperament, without the slightest arrogance. After arriving at the side hall, he even greeted several people with a smile before closing his eyes to rest. Even as Yushindu closed his eyes to rest, a large group of geniuses surrounded him. Geniuses are always proud, but those who have grown to this point also know how to seize opportunities and seek benefits, and are, of course, happy to associate with such a person as Yushindu. In comparison, Yi-chun was noticeably inconspicuous among the crowd, with almost no one paying attention to him, and only Qianli Yuyu would occasionally have a few words with Yi-chun. After all, Yi-chen's Earth Divine Venerate realm was too low. Apart from a few God King geniuses from other universes, his realm was the lowest. Others were Heavenly Divine Venerable, Immortal Divine Venerable, and even Supreme Sovereign Realm. The other bustling scene among the gathering of geniuses was when a divine woman arrived. This divine woman came from a universe under the jurisdiction of the second major force, Linglong Divine Land. Her extremely beautiful appearance immediately caught the attention of geniuses from various universes in the field. However, this divine woman had an extremely aloof aura and, after arriving at the side hall, did not speak much with others, not even caring about Yushindu, and directly sat cross-legged to cultivate. Her name was unknown to everyone, only known to be from the second major force, and this was only revealed after Qianli Yuyu asked for a long time. Yi-chun also glanced at this divine woman, but not because of her appearance. This woman is indeed beautiful, but slightly inferior to Zhang Yao and Long Li. Yi-chun noticed her mainly because, upon her entry, he faintly felt that she gave him an extremely dangerous feeling. This feeling was even stronger than the sense of danger from Yushindu. Evidently, this woman is not as simple as she appears. She is very likely another super genius with great background and combat power. After this divine woman from the force of Linglong Divine Land arrived, 2 more geniuses from different universes came, and the 30 geniuses assigned to Blue Gold City were finally all present. After everyone was present, it wasn't long before a powerful figure from the primal beginning universe entered the side hall. This was a master. After arriving in the side hall, he glanced at everyone in the field, his gaze pausing only for a few breaths on Yushindu and the unnamed divine woman, almost skimming over the others. Then, this master said, "Welcome, geniuses of the universes. Welcome to Blue Gold City. In the next half-day, I will take you to tour various regions of Blue Gold City. These regions will involve many matters related to your cultivation and exploration in the primal beginning universe, so you must carefully listen to the explanations of each region." Chapter 11:30 Giant City. Stay close to the group and don't run around in Blue Gold City, or suffer the consequences yourself. Let's go. After a brief instruction, the master directly walked toward the outside. Everyone hurriedly followed in the footsteps of the master. The 30 geniuses from various universes present were all heaven's chosen figures in their respective universes, always receiving special treatment. However, now the master of this blue gold city obviously did not care about these geniuses. This made all the geniuses understand that in the primal beginning universe, everything was different. It was very likely they would only be able to rely on themselves. After leaving the side hall, passing through several long corridors, and finally stepping out of the teleportation building, Yi-chun took a deep breath as he gazed at the city of blue gold outside. What a bustling and lively city! Yi-chun originally thought that the terrifying primal beginning universe, even though it had 36 strongholds, would merely be places where crowds gathered simply, without being too lively. But to Yi-chun's surprise, this blue gold city was in no way inferior to many giant cities on the star continent. Not only were buildings incredibly majestic, but even the divine light on them was something Yi-chun had never seen before, unimaginably powerful. What was even more astonishing was the throngs of people coming and going in Blue Gold City, densely packed. Carried by the master while flying through Blue Gold City, Yi-chun estimated the population density, deducing that this huge city must have over 1 million people. One must know that those who can come to Blue Gold City, besides the 30 geniuses like Yi-chun who are of lower realms, must all be at least in the Divine Master realm to come here. This signifies that Blue Gold City unbelievably houses over 1 million Divine Master level powerhouses. It's likely there are also numerous masters and cosmic emperors. Terrifying. It was simply too terrifying. In comparison, the 30 geniuses like Yi-chun were truly minuscule, negligible among the vast crowd of Divine Masters. Additionally, coming from different universes made it hard to connect with this master. No wonder this master did not pay too much attention to these geniuses. Across countless universes, geniuses can only venture to the cosmic sea after breaking through to the Divine Master realm. The number of powerful beings gathered in the cosmic sea must be unfathomable. No wonder. Just the strongholds occupied by these 36 major cosmic sea forces in the primal beginning universe yield so many figures of the Divine Master realm and above. In comparison, we are indeed too weak. Among the moving crowd, Qianli Yuyu beside Yi-chun also voiced her sentiments. Not only Qianli Yuyu, but other geniuses also felt a great sense of crisis and motivation. Their crisis was that in this blue gold city filled with formidable foes, they were not powerful enough to protect themselves, possibly living in constant fear. Their motivation was, seeing so many divine masters, these geniuses also wanted to raise their realms faster and reach the Divine Master realm as soon as possible. After flying for about half a tea's time, the master led the group to a stop at the foot of a giant mountain. Looking up at the mountain, it was entirely shrouded in thick fog, making it impossible to see clearly what was inside, only seeing people continuously entering and leaving the mountain. This mountain is called Chaos Origin Mountain, a place for cultivation. On the mountain, there are the unique Chaos Stone inscriptions of the primal beginning universe. These Chaos Stone inscriptions are of great use for cultivation. Each time you climb the mountain and stay for a day, it costs 1,000 rotten gold points. Remember this place in the future, you will also have the opportunity to cultivate here. The master said to the 30 people including Yi-chun. Place for cultivation Chaos Origin Mountain. Hearing the master's words, the 30 geniuses secretly memorized this place. A genius asked the master, "Sir, the rotten gold points you mentioned, are they the currency circulating in Blue Gold City? To cultivate on the Chaos Origin Mountain for a day costs 1,000 rotten gold points. Are we also required to spend rotten gold points to enter? Where can we obtain rotten gold points?" This genius's question was also the doubt of all geniuses like Yi-chun. Upon hearing this inquiry, the master looked at the genius who asked it and did not refuse to answer, directly replying, "Indeed, rotten gold points are the circulating currency of Blue Gold City. It is a type of currency balanced by the strongest batch of cosmic emperors from the 36 large forces, exclusively for the cultivation and adventure of cultivators in Blue Gold City. These rotten gold points can be used in various places, for example, to purchase cultivation techniques, enter special cultivation places, or even for daily expenses in Blue Gold City. Every cultivator who comes to Blue Gold City has only 3 ways to obtain rotten gold points. One way is for cultivators from other strongholds to exchange equivalent value from other currencies for rotten gold points upon arrival in Blue Gold City. The second way is to achieve a major breakthrough in Blue Gold City and receive rewarded rotten gold points. The third way is completing various adventure tasks in Blue Gold City, which can also reward you with rotten gold points. Of course, for you 30 lower realm geniuses coming to Blue Gold City for the first time, you will be provided with an extra method to obtain rotten gold points. That is, each of you will be granted an additional 10,000 rotten gold points. After spending these 10,000 rotten gold points, if you wish to use more, you'll have to earn it yourselves. Upon hearing the master's words, everyone's mind and spirit tightened. An additional 10,000 rotten gold points? It seems like a lot. However, after calculating carefully, it's just enough to cover 100 days of cultivation expenses at Chaos Origin Mountain. It seems there will be many other places in Blue Gold City where expenses require the use of blue gold points, so 100,000 blue gold points evidently isn't much. Yi Chen's mind and spirit stirred. The master mentioned that people from other outposts could come to Blue Gold City and exchange their outpost currency for blue gold points. This implies that different outposts are interconnected. This means that Yi Chen could also travel to other outposts. Although Yi Chen could guess that going to other outposts would not be easy, since the possibility exists, it means he might encounter Jiang Yao and Long Li, who were transmitted to other outposts, while everyone's minds were filled with countless thoughts. Next, the master led the group of Heaven's Chosen flying to other places, introducing other areas. Here is the Heavenly Treasure Divine Palace, established by 36 forces. Inside this Heavenly Treasure Divine Palace, as long as your blue gold points are sufficient, you can purchase various divine methods, divine materials, divine liquids you need. Just seeing the outermost area gathered with countless divine masters, an exploration map of the primal beginning universe was auctioned for 50,000 blue gold points. This once again made the group of Heaven's Chosen deeply feel the scarcity of blue gold points. Furthermore, when the group of Heaven's Chosen arrived at other cultivation places like the Heavenly Pole Divine Pool, Creation Fire Cave, Mystic Cloud Divine Cave, each place demanding thousands or tens of thousands of blue gold points for a single day's access left the talents increasingly astonished. Of course, apart from astonishment, there was more shock. Blue Gold City is truly incredible. With countless cultivation realms and places where countless strong individuals gather, Yi Chen and the other 30 were awestruck. Even the ingredients in the inns here are special ingredients only found in the primal beginning universe, offering significant help for cultivation. The 10,000 blue gold points distributed to Yi Chen and the others were not enough even to order the most precious single ingredient here. After showing over 30 realms, this master finally stopped. First, the master opened his large hand, and 30 golden cards appeared in his palm. Here are your 100,000 blue gold points each. Swish. Without the master making any move with his hand, the 30 cards flew directly to Yi Chen and the other 30. Yi Chen looked at the golden card in his hand, unsure what material it was made from, but even with Yi Chen's combat power, he couldn't leave any mark on the card. I'll remind you, the 30 talents had just put away their cards when the master once again addressed them. The blue gold point cards in Blue Gold City are not exclusive cards. The blue gold points inside are not restricted to just your use. Others can also use the blue gold points in your hand. So, be sure to keep them well and don't easily transfer blue gold points to others. In the past, many divine masters often dueled for blue gold points out of pride, and losers could easily be left with nothing. Of course, you don't have to worry about your cards being taken by others. In Blue Gold City, robbery and slaughter are prohibited, and anyone who violates this, whether a divine master, or even cosmic emperor, will be punished by the 36 major forces together. As long as you don't actively agree to others' conditions, no one can threaten you. Surviving in Blue Gold City and enhancing your realm and power is also a test for you. All right, I've told you the basics about Blue Gold City, and the rest of your cultivation and adventures in Blue Gold City will be up to you. With that, the master directly left, leaving 30 talents on the streets of Blue Gold City. Many were left looking at each other in dismay, not expecting to be left just like that. In the crowd, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we part. I wish you great progress in Blue Gold City." The first to speak was Yushindu, and after speaking, he left directly. The goddess from the second major force, Linglong Divine Land, also glanced at the crowd, clasping her fists towards them, and then left alone. "Yi Chen, would you like to join us?" Qianli Yuyu was gathering a few people to act together. He looked at Yi Chen and asked out loud. Yi Chen smiled and shook his head. "Let's discuss it later if there's an opportunity. I plan to go train for a while, so I won't join you." Seeing Yi Chen's clear refusal, Qianli Yuyu could only nod and leave with a few others. As most of the 30 talents left, Yi Chen looked around, determined his direction, and flew directly toward a certain realm. After not flying for long, Yi Chen landed in a spot. Then, after passing through several blocks, Yi Chen arrived at a stall. Chapter 1131, Chaos Stone Inscription. This stall occasionally attracts visitors, and judging by their expressions, they all seem to be divine masters newly arrived at Blue Gold City. After observing the stall for a while, Yi Chen seized the moment when no one was around and approached the stall. The stall owner was a pot-bellied middle-aged man, looking more like a merchant than a powerful figure. Yet, Yi Chen sensed a formidable aura from him, one typically possessed by divine masters and masters. This fellow cultivator. Seeing someone approach, the stall owner raised his head to greet them, and upon seeing the youthful Yi Chen, he seemed to sense Yi Chen's realm and laughed. "Oh, could it be that the young friend is one of the 30 young talents from different universes who have newly arrived at Blue Gold City? I am nicknamed Know-It-All of Blue Gold City. As someone new here, if you have any doubts or wish to inquire about anything, you've come to the right person. Is there anything you want to ask, fellow cultivator?" The stall owner's words made Yi Chen's eyes light up. While being guided around Blue Gold City by the master earlier, Yi Chen had noticed that many curious divine masters frequent this special stall in the area. Yi Chen had speculated that he might be able to gather some information here. Seeing the stall owner's demeanor and his ability to mention the 30 young talents from different universes visiting Blue Gold City directly, it was clear that this person was indeed well informed. This kind of person was precisely what Yi Chen needed upon arriving at Blue Gold City. "You have sharp eyes, senior. I am indeed new to Blue Gold City and have some matters I wish to inquire about," Yi Chen said. "You've come to the right place." The stall owner chuckled, his eyes squinting with laughter. "Feel free to ask anything, young friend. However, some information requires blue gold points to purchase. I hope you understand." Yi Chen nodded with a smile and began conversing with the stall owner. After a stick of incense had burned, Yi Chen finally left the stall. Once Yi Chen vanished from sight, the stall owner stared at the spot where Yi Chen disappeared, his gaze turning unusually sharp. This young man is not ordinary. His realm is only at Earth Divine Venerable Realm, yet his combat power is exceedingly strong. Even if he suppresses it deliberately, he gives me an incredibly strange sensation. His thinking is also very clear. As I know, the 30 young talents here were each given 100,000 blue gold points. Many might have spent their points directly on cultivation, but he found me and was willing to spend a tenth of his points to buy information from me. Although he spent 10,000 blue gold points here, the information and advice I provided him are worth far more than 10,000 points. It seems that during his time in Blue Gold City, this person is bound to grow significantly. Even though formally the 36 great forces give them 10,000 blue gold points and leave them alone afterward, they actually pay attention to their progress. Depending on their advancements in the primal beginning universe, they might arrange special opportunities for them in the future. I might pay more attention to see how this young man develops. The stall owner muttered while watching where Yi Chen disappeared. As Yi Chen flew towards a certain area in Blue Gold City, other talents spread across the various parts of the city. Inside a special grand hall of Blue Gold City, a massive luminous disk flickered with divine light, clearly displaying the names, realms, and various data of Yi Chen, Yushindu, Qianli Yuyu, and 30 other talents, along with their originating universes and associated great forces. As these talents began their activities in Blue Gold City, everyone's data constantly changed. Different top figures from various great forces frequently visited this luminous disk to observe something. Yi Chun was unaware of the stall owner's muttered words and equally unaware that his actions and progress, along with those of other talents, were being monitored by the 36 great forces. Having left the previous stall, Yi Chun directly flew toward the Chaos Origin Mountain, mentioned by the guiding master earlier. As he flew, Yi Chun thought to himself, "No wonder the master took us to the Chaos Origin Mountain at first. It turns out that area is most suitable for us newcomers to cultivate." Moreover, the Chaos Stone carvings at Chaos Origin Mountain number 72 in total, each with different uses. According to the stall owner, some of them are particularly suitable for my cultivation. After cultivating at Chaos Origin Mountain, if blue gold points are insufficient, going to another place named Temporal Temple for tasks is most suitable. So I plan to visit Temporal Temple later. This time I've gathered quite a lot of useful information. It's worth spending 10,000 blue gold points. Although Yi Chun was new to Blue Gold City, he already had a rough plan in mind for cultivating and exploring the city. After flying for a short while, Yi Chun arrived once again at the foot of Chaos Origin Mountain. Looking up at the mountain shrouded in dense fog, Yi Chun sensed an immense flying prohibition within the mountain, making it impossible to fly inside. Yi Chun stepped forward and headed into Chaos Origin Mountain. Upon entering Chaos Origin Mountain, Yi Chun noticed the golden card he carried illuminated, and 1,000 blue gold points were deducted from it. Staying inside Chaos Origin Mountain costs 1,000 points per day, and the points had started to deplete. Adding the 10,000 points spent on information earlier, Yi Chun's golden card now held only 89,000 points, enough for 89 days of cultivation in Chaos Origin Mountain. However, Yi Chun seemed utterly unconcerned about the depletion of blue gold points. He headed directly to a spot halfway up Chaos Origin Mountain. Before long, Yi Chun entered a massive structure named Combat Power Hall, within the mountainside of Chaos Origin Mountain. Upon entering Combat Power Hall, Yi Chun immediately sensed a brilliant divine light enveloping him, seemingly probing every source of combat power within him. Yi Chun sensed that besides the power from the primordial star scripture, his eternal god body, heavenly forbidden flame, and even great sun Pitha divine sound were all being examined. Following that, a peculiar light screen appeared directly in front of Yi Chun. Earth Divine Venerable, number 155678893, Combat Power Level 89. Breakthrough to Combat Power Levels 90 to 100 within 30 days, to receive a reward ranging from 10,000 to 100,000 blue gold points. Breakthrough to combat power levels 100 to 200 within 30 days, to receive a reward ranging from 100,000 to 1 million blue gold points. Breakthrough to combat power levels 200 to 300 within 30 days, to receive a reward ranging from 100,000 to 400,000 blue gold points. Breakthrough to combat power levels 90 to 100 within 30 to 60 days. No reward. Breakthrough to combat power levels above 100 within 30 to 60 days, to receive a reward ranging from 10,000 to 100,000 blue gold points. Various rewards for breakthroughs were clearly displayed on the peculiar light screen. Evidently, this place was, as the master mentioned, capable of sensing cultivators' breakthroughs and providing blue gold point rewards. Though Yi Chun was unaware of the specific combat power implications of levels 89, 90, 100, etc., he realized from the rewards that the shorter the time and the greater the improvement, the more blue gold points earned. This filled Yi Chun, who had limited blue gold points, with determination. After leaving the combat power hall, Yi Chun headed to higher places within Chaos Origin Mountain. Upon reaching the summit area, Yi Chun saw that the mountain top was like a fairyland shrouded in endless celestial chi. Within, countless people were seated in meditation. Also visible were huge stone blocks, tens of feet high, each separated by considerable distance, standing in the infinite celestial chi. In total, there were 72 such massive stone blocks. Looking at the surface of each stone block, he saw that, rather than words, there were lines that seemed entirely random. Upon examining these lines closely, they seemed to contain entire worlds, mysterious and unparalleled. Chaos stone carvings. These 72 massive stone blocks were precisely the most precious chaos stone carvings in Chaos Origin Mountain, capable of greatly enhancing cultivation. Yichun walked in front of the 72 chaos stone carvings, scrutinizing each one before he sat down in front of the one numbered 17. Chapter 1132 Major Turmoil. On this chaos stone inscription numbered 17, there were only a few faint markings, but as Yichun gazed upon it, he felt as though his entire mind and spirit were being drawn into it. Even more terrifying, Yichun sensed an endless light of divine swords within, madly slashing, as if to cleave everything in chaos. This chaos stone inscription was precisely the one the vendor had identified to Yichun as the most effective for comprehending swordsmanship. When Yichun participated in the Stellar Domain Genius battle earlier, he obtained an extraordinary divine art from the ancestral god temple, Heavenly Sword Divine Art, which he had yet to cultivate. Therefore, Yichun specifically asked the vendor about the cultivation uses of the Chaos Stone inscription and was preparing to train well with the Heavenly Sword Divine Art in front of the 17th Chaos Stone inscription. At this moment, the number of people sitting cross-legged before the 17th Chaos Stone inscription had exceeded 1,000. Yichun sat directly at the back. Sword Technique Divine Art. It is the most widely used kind of divine art. Even in the Cosmic Sea, countless strong cultivators practice swordsmanship. Thus, the number of people sitting cross-legged in front of the 17th Chaos Stone inscription was the most. At this time, these people had all entered a state of cultivation and comprehension, many even directly releasing their realm energy. What shocked Yichun was that among the 1,000 people sitting at the front, more than 800 were divine masters, while the other 200 were masters. It was the first time Yichun saw so many masters cultivating together. In comparison, Yichun, a mere earth divine venerable, had a realm that was simply too low. Of course, at this time, the divine masters and masters in front were all cultivating and didn't notice Yichun at all. After observing the cultivation state of more than 1,000 strong cultivators in front, Yichun directly focused his mind and spirit, entering his own state of cultivation. Heavenly Sword Divine Art. It was one of the most powerful divine arts among the countless divine arts left to Yichun and other geniuses by the ancestral god temple, created by a sword god, a cosmic emperor of swordsmanship, of the ancestral god temple. Even though Yichun only had a fragment, its combat power level was already terrifying enough. Once the fragment is cultivated to the extreme, slaying a divine master or even a weaker master is not a problem. As Yichun entered the state of cultivation and began to comprehend this heavenly sword divine art, he experienced the power of this swordsmanship. However, what amazed Yichun was that it was unclear whether he was exceptionally suited to cultivating the swordsmanship, or if the 17th Chaos Stone inscription in front had a great effect on swordsmanship cultivation. Yichun unexpectedly, very smoothly, grasped the cultivation key of the heavenly sword divine art, directly entering the training of the first sword articulation among the 12 fragmentary sword articulations, and in less than 2 hours, he completed the first sword articulations training. Then, Yichun entered the training of the second and third sword articulations. What Yichun did not know was, at this time, as he sat cross-legged in front of the 17th Chaos Stone inscription, rich sword chi began to converge on him, and even wisps of chaotic primordial chi from the chaotic stone inscription started to fly towards him. How keen is the perception of the strong! This chaotic primordial chi was the most precious thing of the Chaos Stone inscription, especially the swordsmanship Chaos Stone inscription, where the chaotic primordial chi contained countless heaven-earth innate swordsmanship secrets, mysterious and matchless. Even among the 200 masters present, very few could attract chaotic primordial chi to fly out, and even fewer divine masters could. Now that Yichun could draw chaotic primordial chi, how could it not shock people immensely? Even the movement of this chaotic primordial chi woke up many cultivating divine masters and masters. Chaotic primordial chi cannot be seized, as it is infinitely marvelous. These divine masters and masters could only watch helplessly as it flew towards the back. When they saw the chaotic primordial chi finally enter Yi Chen's body, and upon seeing Yi Chen's realm was merely an earth divine venerable, many divine masters and masters were utterly astonished. Earth divine venerable? How could there be an earth divine venerable who can come to the primal beginning universe? Can come to Blue Gold City? Many divine masters and masters did not know about the matter of the 36 major forces bringing the low-realm geniuses of 36 universes to the primal beginning universe for cultivation. They always thought that only divine masters could enter the primal beginning universe. Seeing Yi Chen, a mere earth divine venerable, sitting cross-legged behind them at this time, naturally shocked them immensely. What shocked them even more was this little earth divine venerable had such high talent, such a strong affinity with swordsmanship, and could even attract chaotic primordial chi from the Chaos Stone inscription, surpassing countless of them. I got it. This is one of the low-realm geniuses brought by the 36 major forces to the primal beginning universe this time. Some divine masters and masters well-informed had heard about the stellar domain genius battle and the exploration of low-realm geniuses entering the primal beginning universe, and they explained it to others. When those unaware of these news learned about the origins of Yi Chen and others, many had their eyes light up. Super geniuses selected from the major universes? Indeed, they are extraordinarily excellent. It seems that although their realm is low now, it is only a matter of time before they break through to the Divine Master realm and enter the Cosmic Sea. Amid these discussions, Yi Chen, who was cultivating with his eyes closed, had already progressed to the fourth sword articulation of the Heavenly Sword Divine Art. And at this time, there was even sword divine power surging within him. The moment this sword divine power surged, a master sitting at the very front, who had been cultivating and hadn't noticed Yi Chen, suddenly stopped cultivating, opened his eyes suddenly, and turned his head towards Yi Chen. Heavenly Sword Divine Art? The master's eyes flashed brilliantly, and from his gaze, one could see endless miraculous lights from the divine sword surging forth. These miraculous lights from the divine sword were far mightier than those cultivated by Yi Chen. If Yi Chen knew the entirety of the Heavenly Sword Divine Art, he would certainly realize that the person in front of him absolutely was also a cultivator of the Heavenly Sword Divine Art. Moreover, what he cultivated wasn't just the incomplete fragment practiced by Yi Chen but the full text, having reached a much higher level. Yuan Qingzi, what's wrong? The masters sitting beside Yuan Qingzi, sensing the anomaly from the master ahead, were startled and looked towards Yuan Qingzi. Yuan Qingzi glanced at Yi Chen, who was still immersed in practice, and smilingly said to the masters nearby, "It seems to be a low-realm genius from the universe governed by my ancestral god temple practicing behind." Yuan Qingzi's words made the other masters turn to look at Yi Chen as well. Seeing Yi Chen able to drive the chaotic primordial chi, their eyes shook. A genius from the universe governed by the ancestral god temple? The masters sitting in front were evidently special and aware of the matter of Yi Chen, including 36 lower realm geniuses coming to the primal beginning universe for training. It certainly seems extraordinary. So, Yuan Qingzi, are you planning to give him some guidance? These low-realm geniuses come to the primal beginning universe mainly for their own exploration. Yuan Qingzi gently shook his head. Although this person can drive the chaotic primordial chi and has connections with my main cultivated swordsmanship, I can offer help if needed. My cultivation progress is almost complete. I will have another look at him. Yuan Qingzi observed Yi Chen with great interest. The other masters smiled and nodded at this, and those who completed their training also looked at Yi Chen, while those unfinished spoke briefly before resuming their cultivation state. Yi Chen was unaware of the mighty masters from the ancestral god temple in front of him cultivating, and even recognized the origin of his heavenly sword divine art. At this time, Yi Chen had completely immersed himself in the comprehension of the heavenly sword divine art. However, Yi Chen enjoyed the cultivation exceedingly well, yet finally hit a slight pause when he reached the fifth sword articulation. Yi Chen sensed that the fifth sword articulation was extremely challenging to practice. Even with the help of the chaotic primordial chi from the Chaos Stone inscription, His progress in comprehension was very slow. However, Yi Chun was unaware that Yuan Qingzi was watching his cultivation of the fifth sword articulation with eyes wide open. This person definitely seems to be practicing the heavenly sword divine art for the first time, yet unbelievably can cultivate to the fifth sword articulation in one go without halting? Does this imply he's even more suited for cultivating the heavenly sword divine art than I am? When I first practiced, my progress wasn't as fast as his. I directly got stuck at the fourth sword articulation. Yuan Qingzi's shock was further compounded. Though Yi Chun was mildly stuck in the fifth sword articulation's cultivation, as time passed, Yi Chun spent most of the day and managed to complete the fifth sword articulation. Yi Chun immediately entered the cultivation state of the sixth sword articulation. This scenario made Yuan Qingzi stand up in amazement. Yuan Qingzi's movements again stirred quite a few masters. However, after Yi Chun entered the sixth sword articulation cultivation state, he finally came to a complete halt. The sixth sword articulation was clearly an exceedingly difficult level among the 12 sword articulations in the incomplete heavenly sword divine art, which Yi Chun couldn't complete in a short time. Finally, Yi Chun ceased his first cultivation of the heavenly sword divine art and opened his eyes. Seeing Yi Chun cease his cultivation, Yuan Qingzi finally sighed in relief, his gaze reflecting both relaxation and pity. The relief was because Yi Chun finally stopped his cultivation. If Yi Chun broke through the sixth sword articulation during his first cultivation, it would be too terrifying and Yuan Qingzi would have to take great care of him, even expending considerable mind and spirit in reporting to various entities of the ancestral god temple. The pity was because, after all, Yi Chun was a genius of the ancestral god temple, and Yuan Qingzi also hoped Yi Chun would improve more. Has he paused his cultivation to rest his mind and spirit before resuming later? Or does he have other thoughts? After some sentiments, Yuan Qingzi glanced at Yi Chun. At this moment, Yi Chun directly stood up, gently clasped his fist towards the divine master overlords watching him, and left the 17th Chaos Stone inscription. After Yi Chun left, Yuan Qingzi also followed him from afar, departing from the 17th Chaos Stone inscription. He wanted to see what this young teenager would do next in his cultivation. Yi Chun chose not to continue cultivating at the 17th Chaos Stone inscription because he only had 89,000 blue gold points left, barely enough for a short duration of cultivation expense, and naturally needed to use them wisely. Since the heavenly sword divine art wouldn't advance much in a short time, Yi Chun would certainly prioritize time on enhancing other techniques. Yi Chun directly headed towards the other 71 Chaos Stone inscriptions. When he reached the 36th Chaos Stone inscription, he suddenly stopped. Previously, Yi Chun only briefly observed the 72 Chaos Stone inscriptions. But this time, after delicately comprehending each stone inscription, he discovered that the 36th Chaos Stone inscription prompted a remarkable reaction within his body's divine method. This divine method was the Heaven-Earth innate divine method gained by Yi Chun when he broke through to Earth Divine Venerable, a singularly powerful divine method, Stellar Terrestrial Spin. The Stellar Terrestrial Spin, a potent divine method capable of amplifying combat power, was exceedingly challenging to cultivate. Its entry-level difficulty was even tougher than Yi Chun's progression to the sixth sword articulation in the heavenly sword divine art. Now, this 36th Chaos Stone inscription could provoke a significant reaction in the Stellar Terrestrial Spin, and Yi Chun sensed that this Chaos Stone inscription might greatly assist his cultivation of the Stellar Terrestrial Spin, naturally bringing Yi Chun's excitement to the extreme. Chapter 1133, Chaos Profound Extreme Pill. The incredibly surprised Yi Chun carefully examined the Chaos Stone inscription number 36 in front of him. The Chaos Stone inscription number 17, where he previously cultivated his swordsmanship, had a few vague sword-shaped imprints naturally formed by heaven and earth, while the Chaos Stone inscription No. 36 had peculiar scattered star-like imprints, seemingly formed by chaos meteorites striking the inscription. Moreover, unlike Chaos Stone inscription number 17, below which many people were seated cultivating, exceeding 1,000 in number, below Chaos Stone inscription number 36, few were seated, only over 200 people. It seemed very difficult to glean anything of great help for cultivation from this stone inscription, hence very few chose to cultivate here. But Yi Chan at this moment couldn't care less whether others could gain anything from this Chaos Stone inscription. After carefully examining Chaos Stone inscription No. 36, Yi Chan was absolutely certain that this stone inscription would definitely help him cultivate the stellar terrestrial spin divine technique. No matter what others could cultivate here, Yi Chan was determined to truly cultivate thoroughly at this site. Yi Chan directly sat cross-legged at the very end of Chaos Stone inscription number 36. Boom! As Yi Chan sat down and immersed his mind and spirit in the enlightenment from Chaos Stone inscription number 36, the peculiar star-like imprints on this stone inscription suddenly transformed into endless stars, spinning crazily in Yi Chan's mind. This spinning contained endless mystery within. Upon seeing these spinning stars, Yi Chan seemed to behold countless heaven-earth innate divine methods born from chaos. The other heaven-earth innate divine methods were dim stars that Yi Chan couldn't comprehend. Yet one spinning star corresponded exactly to Yi Chen's stellar terrestrial spin divine technique, and Yi Chen's mind and spirit instantly entered the spinning star, beginning to perceive the various transformations and evolutions within it. He even saw endless chaotic primordial chi within the star, forming figures seated in cultivation, demonstrating to Yi Chan specifically how to cultivate the stellar terrestrial spin. Bear in mind, the hardest part of mastering the stellar terrestrial spin was the specific cultivation method. Yi Chan couldn't precisely ascertain the correct seated position following the moves of the cultivation technique. But at this moment, the figures formed by chaotic primordial chi inside the Chaos Stone inscription of seated cultivators were deeply engraved into Yi Chen's mind, akin to instantly teaching Yi Chan the specific cultivation method. Yi Chan directly entered the specific cultivation of the stellar terrestrial spin. This was Yi Chen's mind and spirit enlightenment. From an outsider's perspective, one could see Yi Chan seated cross-legged at the end of Chaos Stone inscription number 36, his entire being enveloped by a dense mist, making it impossible to clearly see how he was cultivating. However, one could see threads of chaotic primordial chi from the Chaos Stone inscription constantly shooting towards Yi Chan, enveloped in dense mist. This scene once again attracted the attention of countless divine masters and masters cultivating at Chaos Stone inscription number 36. This situation even greatly astonished Yuan Qingzi, the master from the ancestral god temple, observing Yi Chan from behind. Others were astonished at Yi Chen's ability to invoke chaotic primordial chi. But Yuan Qingzi knew that Yi Chen had already invoked a form of chaotic primordial chi at Chaos Stone inscription number 17, and now, at Chaos Stone inscription number 36, Yi Chen invoked another form of chaotic primordial chi. This was simply unimaginable. Bear in mind, of the 72 Chaos Stone inscriptions on Chaos Origin Mountain that benefit cultivation, the most precious benefit is the chaotic primordial chi. However, even the divine master overlords of the cosmic sea who come to Chaos Origin Mountain to cultivate mostly gain insight from the stone inscriptions themselves. Very few can invoke any form of chaotic primordial chi, let alone two. Most only invoke the chaotic primordial chi corresponding to their main cultivation techniques. Invoking two forms of chaotic primordial chi undoubtedly indicates an astonishing genius among divine master overlords. Like Yuan Qingzi, who is already considered a top-tier genius in the ancestral god temple. He has only evoked the chaotic primordial chi from Chaos Stone inscription number 17. Now, Yuan Qingzi could clearly see Yi Chan invoking chaotic primordial chi twice, and Yi Chan was still in the divine venerable realm, which of course shocked Yuan Qingzi to the utmost. The lower the realm, the less one can perceive from the Chaos Stone inscriptions. In such a case, this young man can invoke two forms of chaotic primordial chi. My God, what kind of terrifying genius is this young man? At this moment, Yuan Qingzi regarded Yi Chan as though he were viewing a true treasure. He'd already decided that he must foster a good relationship with this top-tier genius Yi Chan. Even though Yi Chan was still far from Yuan Qingzi's realm and combat power, such a top-tier genius once grown would likely surpass him. Yuan Qingzi wanted to build a good relationship with this genius early. The universe governed by our ancestral god temple has such a genius this time. This must be reported to the main person in charge in Blue Gold City. Yuan Qingzi further pondered in his heart. Nevertheless, Yuan Qingzi did not directly leave. Yichen was still cultivating on Chaos Origin Mountain, so reporting Yichen's matter was not urgent. Yuan Qingzi intended to converse with Yichen once his cultivation concluded and simultaneously wished to observe what Yichen intended to cultivate at Chaos Stone inscription number 36. But to Yuan Qingzi's surprise, Chaos Stone inscription number 36 was so special that he couldn't even see Yichen's specific cultivation situation. He couldn't even sense Yichen's cultivation progress. The dense mist enveloping Yichen completely shielded even the divine sense of this master. Chaos Stone inscription number 36 and Chaos Stone inscription number 72 are the most special among the 72 stone inscriptions. I have no enlightenment from either. Seems this Chaos Stone inscription is not destined for me, but it surely has a destiny with this young man. I can't see this person's specific cultivation situation, so be it. I'll wait for him to complete his cultivation. After probing, Yichen's cultivation situation yielded no results. Yuan Qingzi quietly waited. Yichen was unaware of the situation outside at this moment. Chaos Origin Mountain is an incredibly precious and safe cultivation place in Blue Gold City, and Yichen has completely immersed his mind and spirit into the cultivation state. Moreover, Yichen feels that the effect of cultivating at Chaos Stone inscription number 36 is even stronger than at inscription number 17. Yichen has truly entered a state of advancement in the cultivation of Starry Sky Earth rotation. However, even though the effect of Yichen's cultivation of Starry Sky Earth rotation is stronger, the progress is not as fast as cultivating the Heavenly Sword Divine Art. This Heaven-Earth innate divine method is too cumbersome, the cultivation method too mysterious, and Yichen had employed tens of thousands of meditation techniques, cultivated for 12 days, just to elevate Starry Sky Earth rotation to the level of doubling his combat power. Although it consumed a long time, Yichen was immensely delighted upon truly sensing the successful cultivation of the double combat power augmentation effect of Starry Sky Earth rotation. The Starry Sky Earth rotation divine technique is a formidable divine method capable of directly amplifying the combat power of various combat power skills. Even though Yichen hasn't cultivated to the point where combat power augmentation exceeds tenfold, a doubling of combat power certainly signifies a qualitative leap in Yichen's combat power. For instance, if Yichen had previously tested a combat power level of 89 on Chaos Origin Mountain, by merely activating Starry Sky Earth rotation for power augmentation, it is now 178, a direct doubling of combat power. Likewise, if Yichen's previous combat power could only contend with a 7-star sovereign, then with the double combat power augmentation, he might be able to handle an 8 or even 9-star sovereign. And this is just the result of a doubling of combat power. Yichen's cultivation of Starry Sky Earth rotation has not ended. He can still break through and achieve higher levels of combat power augmentation. A deeply thrilled Yichen directly continued cultivating at Chaos Stone inscription number 36 without any signs of stopping. Yuan Qingzi, who had been waiting for Yichen all this time, didn't expect Yichen to have cultivated for so long. He could only keep waiting for Yichen. This time, Yichen continued to cultivate for approximately another 17 days. Not until almost the end of the 29th day of cultivation at Chaos Origin Mountain did Yichen stop cultivating. Yichen deliberately stopped not because of any obstacle in cultivation, but because 30 days is a critical time point for assessing cultivation progress at Chaos Origin Mountain. Yichen had previously seen in the breakthrough reward information at the Combat Power Hall on the mountainside of Chaos Origin Mountain that breaking through to a combat power level of 100 to 200 within 30 days rewards 100,000, 100,000 blue gold points. Breaking through to a level of 200 to 300 rewards 1 million to 4 million blue gold points. Similarly, breaking through to a combat power level of 100 to 200 within 30 to 60 days only rewards 10,000 to 100,000 blue gold points. Breaking through to a level of 200 to 300 only rewards 100,000 to 400,000 blue gold points. With longer time consumption, the blue gold points awarded are significantly fewer by many times. Of course, Yichen aims to acquire the highest breakthrough reward of blue gold points within 30 days. Now, having made significant gains at both the number 17 and number 36 Chaos Stone inscriptions, Yi Chun is absolutely confident that he can win a substantial amount of blue gold point rewards. Yi Chun stood up directly from Chaos Stone inscription number 36, preparing to go to the mountainside to claim the breakthrough reward. Seeing Yi Chun stand up, Yuan Qingzi, who had been cultivating and waiting outside, hurriedly stood up too. Young friend. Yuan Qingzi stopped Yi Chun. Seeing a master block his path, Yi Chun was momentarily stunned. What do you need, elder? However, Yuan Qingzi's subsequent words put Yi Chun's mind at ease. Young friend, I am the master of the ancestral god temple, and I have also cultivated the heavenly sword divine art. Fearing Yi Chun might misunderstand, Yuan Qingzi directly showed Yi Chun his ancestral god temple token, and even demonstrated the heavenly sword divine art to him. Then, with a smile, he said to Yi Chun, "A while ago, I saw a young friend cultivating the heavenly sword divine art at Chaos Stone inscription number 17, and knew you were a genius from the universe governed by the ancestral god temple. I wanted to talk to you then. Later, seeing you at inscription no. 36 able to attract chaotic primordial chi, made me even more eager to acquaintance you. I am Yuan Qingzi. May I know your name, young friend?" Though Yuan Qingzi is an incredibly powerful master, he treated Yi Chun with great politeness. Seeing that Yuan Qingzi had no ill intent and that he had some time, Yi Chun answered Yuan Qingzi's questions and conversed with him. After a stick of incense's time, Yuan Qingzi, smiling broadly, bade farewell to Yi Chun and left. Yi Chun, however, held a treasure box in his hands and also beamed with a smile. I didn't expect Senior Yuan Qingzi to be so generous to gift me 3 Chaos Profound Extreme pills. Earlier, I learned from that stall owner that in the Primal Beginning universe, Chaos Profound Extreme pills are very useful for realm breakthroughs, but they are extremely expensive, costing 1,000,000 blue gold points each. Senior Yuan Qingzi, knowing I was planning to cultivate and then breakthrough, generously gave me 3. I was going to claim the breakthrough reward and then find time to exchange for these pills. But now I saved a large amount of blue gold points. Yi Chun, filled with joy, understood that Yuan Qingzi had recognized his talent and, knowing he came from the ancestral god temple, gifted him the Chaos Profound Extreme pills out of a friendly gesture. Clearly, in any place, talent and strength speak volumes. Meeting a powerful master, especially the master of the ancestral god temple, is a great advantage. Yi Chun's eyes sparkled with determination. Then, Yi Chun focused his gaze toward the mountainside of Chaos Origin Mountain. It's time to claim the breakthrough rewards now. I wonder what level my combat power has specifically broken through to this time. After claiming the breakthrough rewards, I'll continue cultivating until I'm adequately prepared to find a place to break through to the heavenly divine venerate realm in one go. With that thought, Yi Chun took a step toward the mountainside. Chapter 1134. Combat Power Surge and Divine Heavenly Hidden Cliff. Soon, Yi Chun once again arrived outside the Combat Power Hall, at the midsection of Chaos Origin Mountain. Looking at the entrance of the Combat Power Hall, Yi Chun took a deep breath and stepped inside. Almost a month's time and back here again. Yi Chun's progress was indeed tremendous. Through a month of diligent training at the 17th and 36th Chaos Stone inscriptions, not only had Yi Chun cultivated the Heavenly Sword Divine Art up to the 6th Sword Articulation, significantly boosting his combat power, but more preciously, he had also cultivated the Stellar Terrestrial Spin to a level that doubles his combat power. Indeed, in the 36th Chaos Stone inscription, after 12 days of training, Yi Chun achieved a 1-fold combat power augmentation level, and after another 17 days, he successfully reached a more powerful 2-fold combat power augmentation level. Now, Yi Chun's combat power had directly increased countless times compared to when he was at the Combat Power Hall before. Whoosh! The moment Yi Chun stepped into the Combat Power Hall, he once again sensed the dazzling divine light that enveloped him during the previous combat power test, enveloping him once more. Instantly, this divine light began to probe all sources of Yi Chun's combat power. However, this time, Yi Chun's primordial star scripture power still could not be detected by this divine light. Besides the eternal god body, heavenly forbidden flame, and great sun pitha divine sound techniques Yi Chun previously possessed, The divine light directly sensed the power of Yi Chen's heavenly sword divine art and stellar terrestrial spin. Boom! Yi Chen immediately felt that when stellar terrestrial spin's combat power was detected, all his combat power means seemed to explode with amplified force, manifesting as a direct twofold combat power augmentation. After all the combat power was assessed, a peculiar light screen recording the combat power appeared before Yi Chen. Earth Divine Venerable, number 155678893, combat power level 272. After 29 days of training, combat power level surged from 89 to 272, rewarding 3.63 million blue gold points. Boom! Upon the appearance of this peculiar light screen, a brilliant light burst from the golden card on Yi Chen's body. In an instant, the blue gold points within the golden card skyrocketed by 3.63 million points. Originally, Yi Chen only possessed 100,000 blue gold points, expending 10,000 points to gather information from a vendor, and another 29,000 points to train in Chaos Origin Mountain for 29 days, leaving just 61,000 blue gold points. But now, the number of blue gold points in Yi Chen's golden card had directly increased to 3.69 million and 1,000 points, several tens of times more than the initial 100,000 given. This was the result of Yi Chen's combat power enhancement. This was the kind of reward the 36 great powers granted for their cultivators' combat power improvements. Of course, for others to increase their combat power this much in 30 days would be extremely challenging. But Yi Chen, having comprehended the two great Chaos Stone inscriptions and successfully invoking the chaotic primordial chi within them, achieved a super strong improvement in combat power. And yet, this still wasn't the entirety of Yi Chen's combat power. As Yi Chen walked out of the combat power hall, looking at the 3.69 million blue gold points in his golden card, he finally felt somewhat wealthy, no longer needing to worry about running out of blue gold points. Yi Chen grew even more spirited, feeling that now, defeating an ordinary 9-star sovereign would likely be no problem, and he might even have a chance at victory when battling a god master. Bear in mind, Yi Chen was only an Earth Divine Venerable at this moment. In countless universes, tales of an Earth Divine Venerable capable of contending against a God Master level are unheard of. Previously, during the Stellar Domain Genius battle, when Yi Chen ran through the 7 Great Divine Mountains, even combining all his combat power, he could only defeat an ordinary 6-star sovereign, let alone a high-ranking sovereign. But now, having broken through to Earth Divine Venerable, enhancing the Eternal God Body and Heavenly Forbidden Flame combat power significantly, plus cultivating the Heavenly Sword Divine Art to the 6th Sword Articulation at Chaos Origin Mountain, particularly mastering the Stellar Terrestrial Spin with combat power doubling effect, Yi Chen's combat power had made a qualitative leap. And Yi Chen had yet to reach the true limit. He still had over 369 million blue gold points, and he could continue training in Chaos Origin Mountain, further breaking through with the Stellar Terrestrial Spin, and even cultivate the God-devouring transformation technique he obtained during the Stellar Domain Genius battle, as well as his most powerful primordial star scriptures Tai Yu chapter technique. Yi Chen had absolute confidence that soon, he could once again elevate his combat power, perhaps even achieving a breakthrough to the next realm level, the Heavenly Divine Venerable Realm. By then, Yi Chen might truly possess some confidence in battles against certain God Masters. In the Primal Beginning universe, Yi Chen would truly obtain some life-saving trump cards. His mind uplifted, Yi Chen continued to ascend toward the Chaos Stone inscription area atop Chaos Origin Mountain. Embarking on the next 30 days of training, Yi Chen plunged into frenzied cultivation within Chaos Origin Mountain, into a state of insanely increasing combat power. Geniuses from other universes are either training or adventuring throughout Blue Gold City. In the special hall of Blue Gold City displaying various data on 30 geniuses, the data on the luminous disk is constantly changing. As Yi Chen's data changed, a top figure happened to enter this special hall. This top figure was none other than a cosmic emperor. When he entered the hall, he immediately looked at Yi Chen's name among the 30 geniuses. As he examined Yi Chen's various data, the change in Yi Chen's combat power clearly appeared on the luminous disk. Upon seeing Yi Chen's combat power increase dramatically from a level of 89 to 272, with an explanation that the change originated from Chaos Origin Mountain, the Cosmic Emperor's eyes were filled with deep shock. In just 30 days, his combat power more than doubled. This Yi Chen is indeed an outstanding genius, just as Yuan Qingzi described. The implication in the Cosmic Emperor's words was that he had conversed with Yuan Qingzi. It was highly possible that this man was the chief responsible person in the Ancestral God Temple's Blue Gold City branch that Yuan Qingzi needed to report Yi Chen's matters to. After seriously reviewing all of Yi Chen's data, the Cosmic Emperor left. As he departed, he murmured to himself, "Recently, the leaders of various forces have been discussing arrangements for adventures outside Blue Gold City for these geniuses. Originally, I was worried that Yi Chen's combat power in the Earth Divine Venerable Realm was too weak among the 30 geniuses. Now, it seems Yi Chen is even stronger than I expected. He is weaker only compared to the strongest Sovereign Realm geniuses. Compared to the other Earth and Heavenly Divine Venerables, his combat power surpasses by a significant margin. Even Immortal Divine Venerables are far from comparable to Yi Chen. This time, many geniuses among the 30 who have broken through to the Sovereign Realm can't compare to Yi Chen." In the end, the Cosmic Emperor nodded in satisfaction. Glancing at the luminous disk, one could see that, although the combat power data for the 30 geniuses frequently changes, each person's combat power is displayed. Currently, the strongest combat power belonged to someone from the Heavenly Origin universe, the top ranked under Primordial God Mountain, who had won first place in the War Divine Venerable of the Stellar Domain Genius Battle in the Heavenly Origin universe and had broken through to the 5-star Sovereign Realm. Yushindu. Yushindu's combat power initially reached an astonishing 453, and within the last 30 days, it changed once, directly reaching 562. Though his increase in combat power was less than Yi Chen's, his strongest combat power was significantly higher than Yi Chen's. Following Yushindu, the second ranked in combat power is a girl named Ning Xiaoxiao. This Ning Xiaoxiao, from the second major power, Linglong Divine Land, is described as an extremely beautiful goddess with a cold and lofty temperament among the 30 geniuses. Shockingly, Ning Xiaoxiao also reached the 4-star Sovereign Realm, with a combat power level as high as 421 and no recent changes. Not much weaker than Yushindu. It's unknown where she is training now, but once she completes her combat power breakthrough, her combat power will likely increase significantly. Aside from Yushindu and Ning Xiaoxiao, there are 8 Sovereign Realm geniuses among the 30 geniuses, but only 3 of them have stronger combat power than Yi Chen. The remaining 5 Sovereign Realm geniuses are already surpassed by Yi Chen. As for the Divine Venerable and God King level geniuses, their combat power is far from comparable to Yi Chen. Yi Chen's combat power has reached the upper echelon among this batch of geniuses. If only Yi Chen's realm were slightly higher, surpassing the strongest sovereign level geniuses would not be an issue. Yi Chen also knew that with his current low realm, he would suffer in the exploration of the primal beginning universe. At this moment, Yi Chen was making his final efforts to break through to the Heavenly Divine Venerable. After returning from the mountainside of Chaos Origin Mountain to the Chaos Stone inscription, Yi Chen continued to sit and train at the 36th Chaos Stone inscription. This training lasted for another 20 days. When Yi Chen's insights into the stellar terrestrial spin completely stalled, he finally stopped training it. Then Yi Chen moved around other Chaos Stone inscriptions, deeply comprehending, and finally he sat down and trained again. This time, it lasted another 20 days before Yi Chen truly came down from Chaos Origin Mountain. After descending from Chaos Origin Mountain, Yi Chen went straight to another area in Blue Gold City, Divine Heavenly Hidden Cliff. Divine Heavenly Hidden Cliff is the best place in Blue Gold City for breakthroughs in realm effectiveness. After nearly 80 days of training in Chaos Origin Mountain, Yi Chen's combat power in various means significantly increased. Even his ultimate method, the Primordial Star Scripture Taiyu chapter, improved with a new origin star aperture through the comprehension of the space star aperture in Blue Gold City. Yi Chen had prepared everything. Yi Chen felt he had the confidence to charge into the Heavenly Divine Venerable Realm. He was ready to make the breakthrough at divine heavenly hidden cliff into the heavenly divine venerable realm. He planned to break the second shackle within himself, stepping from the earth divine venerable realm to the heavenly divine venerable realm. Chapter 1135. Breaking the shackles again. Divine heavenly hidden cliff, located at the easternmost end of Blue Gold City. This is an incredibly mysterious giant mountain, with countless cliff heads, each of which can be used for realm breakthroughs. Even more miraculous is that each cliff head of this divine heavenly hidden cliff is shrouded in thick mist, a unique chaos mist of the primal beginning universe, which plays a significant role in aiding breakthroughs during cultivation. Before heading to the cliff head for a breakthrough, Yi-Chun first visited two places at the divine heavenly hidden cliff. The first place was a bustling market located at the foot of the divine heavenly hidden cliff mountain. The divine heavenly hidden cliff has countless people breaking through realms there, and this market is exactly where breakthrough items are sold. At that moment, Yi-Chun had 4.07 million blue gold points on him. During the first 30 days of a combat power breakthrough on Chaos Origin Mountain, Yi-Chun's blue gold points reached 3,691,000. Subsequently, Yi-Chun cultivated for nearly 51 days on Chaos Origin Mountain, during which he spent more than 20 days comprehending Chaos Stone inscription number 36 and more than 20 days cultivating other cultivation techniques. Over the 51 days, although Yi-Chun did not further break through the stellar terrestrial spin to a triple combat power increase level, he was already extremely close. In this aspect, Yi-Chun had no change in combat power, but cultivation of other cultivation techniques brought Yi-Chun an increase in combat power. Yi-Chun also received about 430,000 blue gold points as a reward at the Combat Power Hall of Chaos Origin Mountain. After deducting the 51,000 blue gold points spent on 51 days of cultivation, Yi-Chun's total blue gold points directly became 4.07 million. 4.07 million sounds a lot, over 40 times more than the 100,000 blue gold points Yi-Chun initially received. But in reality, it's extraordinarily little. For example, to purchase a Chaos Profound Extreme Pill necessary for realm breakthroughs in the Primal Beginning universe, it costs 1 million blue gold points just to buy one. All of Yi-Chun's blue gold points could only buy 4 Chaos Profound Extreme Pills. Fortunately, previously at Chaos Origin Mountain, the powerful master of the ancestral god temple, Yuan Qingzi, gave Yi-Chun 3 Chaos Profound Extreme Pills, saving Yi-Chun a large sum of money. Otherwise, Yi-Chun wouldn't have enough blue gold points to purchase other items for breakthroughs. He must further enhance his combat power to receive more blue gold points. This deeply moved Yi-Chun. I struggled to cultivate for over 80 days, only to receive just over 4 million blue gold points. But Senior Yuan Qingzi casually gifted me Chaos Profound Extreme Pills worth 3 million blue gold points. Indeed, stronger individuals with higher realms find it much easier to earn blue gold points. I fear that Senior Yuan Qingzi might possess over 100 million, if not over 1 billion blue gold points. Yuan Qingzi casually giving away items worth 3 million blue gold points made Yi-Chun feel even more urgent about enhancing his realm and possessing greater strength. With the Chaos Profound Extreme Pill, he only needed a few more items to break through the realm. Yi-Chun wandered around the market at the foot of Divine Heavenly Hidden Cliff Mountain for a moment and spent 3.6 million blue gold points, directly purchasing several useful items for breakthroughs as originally introduced by the stall owner. After this expenditure, Yi-Chun was left with only 470,000 blue gold points. Yet Yi-Chun wasn't anxious. At the Divine Heavenly Hidden Cliff, one can also receive blue gold points as rewards. These rewards not only include the Combat Power Enhancement reward at Chaos Origin Mountain but also Realm Breakthrough rewards. After purchasing the items for breakthroughs, the second place Yi-Chun visited was the Blue Gold Points reception area of the Divine Heavenly Hidden Cliff, Great Divine Sky Temple. Upon entering the Great Divine Sky Temple, Yi-Chun was tested again on various combat power values and even realm values. At this time, Yi-Chun's combat power, through further diligent cultivation over the subsequent 51 days at Chaos Origin Mountain, had reached a combat power level of 324. As for Yi-Chun's realm value, it was at the Earth Divine Venerable Realm. According to the Great Divine Sky Temple's explanation, Every breakthrough of one realm can earn 5 million blue gold points as a reward. The reward for combat power enhancement is similar to that of Chaos Origin Mountain. This means that once Yi-chan breaks through to the Heavenly Divine Venerable Realm, he will be able to receive a large blue gold points reward. However, at this moment, Yi-chan had only completed the test and had not yet qualified for the reward. If he fails to successfully break through to the Heavenly Divine Venerable Realm, all would be empty talk. Yi-chan also knew that the most important thing was the realm's breakthrough itself. After finishing the value tests, Yi-chan took the prepared items and ascended the divine heavenly hidden cliff, directly selecting a cliff head and used by others, and sat down cross-legged. This cliff head was one on the giant mountain at the easternmost side of the divine heavenly hidden cliff. Sitting cross-legged on the cliff head, Yi-chan felt the thick mist on the cliff head and watched the rolling mountain ravines ahead like a sea of clouds, his mind and spirit incredibly calm. Several months ago, at the Starry Sky Waterfall, Yi-chan broke through from Divine King to Earth Divine Venerable. Back then, Yi-chan faced a great crisis and broke through divine tribulation, generating 3 layers of golden shackles on his body. Yi-chan expended great effort to break the first shackle, breaking through to the Earth Divine Venerable Realm. At that time, Yi-chan lacked the ability to withstand a more powerful divine tribulation and break the second shackle. Now, after the cultivation in the Primal Beginning Universe and Chaos Origin Mountain at Blue Gold City, particularly with the significant combat power enhancement of the Stellar Terrestrial Spin and further breaking through various major methods, Yi-chan finally had the confidence to break the second shackle. My divine tribulation is a great crisis divine tribulation. When I broke through to Earth Divine Venerable, the great crisis divine tribulation brought me the Stellar Terrestrial Spin divine method. I wonder if breaking through to Heavenly Divine Venerable will bring me a spontaneously generated divine method, and if so, what kind of divine method it will be. Chapter 1136. Yi-chan considered deeply. In the Primal Beginning Universe, where strong individuals gathered like clouds, Yi-chan yearned for a tremendous boost in his combat power. The Stellar Terrestrial Spin divine technique, brought about by the initial breakthrough through the divine tribulation, surprised Yi-chan greatly. And of course, Yi-chan hoped to obtain another powerful divine technique from this new breakthrough. Everything depends on the outcome of the divine tribulation. When his mind and spirit reached the pinnacle of tranquility, with countless thoughts explored to the extreme, Yi-chan suddenly clasped his hands in a spell, causing divine light to fly from 2 treasure boxes beside him. Chaos-inducing tribulation elixir. These 2 treasure boxes contained the divine objects that Yi-chan had just purchased from the market at the foot of the divine heavenly hidden cliff mountain. The miraculous items required to induce a divine tribulation in the Primal Beginning Universe. The chaos-inducing tribulation elixirs. Once these 2 chaos-inducing tribulation elixirs flew out, they began swirling around Yi-chan's body. As they spun, endless divine light showered upon Yi-chan, and at the same time, the divine power within Yi-chan began to merge into the chaos-inducing tribulation elixirs. Absorbing the divine power from Yi-chan, the chaos-inducing tribulation elixirs transformed from white to a misty gold color, then suddenly flew towards the endless sky above Yi-chan's head. Then something astonishing happened. The sky above the cliff, originally clear, seemed to sense someone below attempting a breakthrough, and in an instant, started gathering rolling divine tribulation clouds. This was different from the divine tribulation clouds in the outer universe. The divine tribulation clouds in the Primal Beginning Universe resembled a massive ancient beast in dark masses, exuding a primal ancient aura. Even within the surging clouds, there were roars of ancient giant beasts. The vendor said, in the Primal Beginning Universe, undergoing a divine tribulation isn't like facing various tribulation lightning outside. Here, you directly face various ancient giant beasts, evolving from the divine tribulation clouds unique to the Primal Beginning Universe. Only by defeating each ancient giant beast's divine tribulation killing force can you truly pass the divine tribulation and reach the next realm. Yi-chan looked up at the dark mass of clouds, hearing the roars of ancient giant beasts within, crystal clear in his mind and spirit, without any panic. When the dark mass of clouds enveloped to the extreme, covering the whole cliff head where Yi Chun stood. Yi Chun moved again. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Yi Chun pointed his finger at several other treasure boxes beside him. A chaos profound extreme pill given to Yi Chun by Yuan Qingzi and 2 other pills flew out. The 3 pills floated before Yi Chun, endlessly exhaling divine light, as if concentrated stars raised to the extreme. Yi Chun opened his mouth and swallowed the 3 pills in front. The 3 pills immediately flew into Yi Chun's body. In an instant, Yi Chun felt his essence, qi, and spirit surge to the fullest, reaching his best state. Yi Chun immediately let out a long roar towards the dense clouds above. At this moment, the clouds above seemed to sense Yi Chun's current state. The dark clouds suddenly rolled and instantly evolved into a massive 10,000-foot tall black terrifying ancient giant beast. This ancient giant beast resembled a massive ape with 2 extraordinary giant horns. As soon as it formed, it waved its huge palms towards Yi Chun on the cliff below, simultaneously emitting 2 beams of divine light like light pillars from its eyes aimed at Yi Chun. Seeing the divine tribulation phenomenon had descended, Yi Chun was fearless and flashed directly to confront the ancient giant beast. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. As Yi Chun appeared before the ancient giant beast, divine light flashed in his hands, and 2 divine swords materialized in his palms. These were divine swords Yi Chun created using vast divine power, imbued with the divine might of Yi Chun's heavenly sword divine art. Holding the divine sword, Yi Chun slashed directly at the ancient giant beast. A single sword seemed capable of shattering the heavens. A single sword seemed capable of cutting through the starry sky. This was Yi Chun's 3rd sword technique in the heavenly sword divine art, with killing force so overwhelming it was like a rainbow cutting across 10,000 feet, instantly killing the immense black ancient giant beast in the void. There was no pause. This ancient giant beast was merely the first phenomenon of the divine tribulation. In the instant Yi Chun killed this ancient giant beast, the divine tribulation clouds above formed another ancient giant beast. This ancient giant beast was like a creature with 5 claws, resembling a divine dragon, yet like a giant serpent, a colossal azure-hued coiling beast. Once this beast appeared, it charged at Yi Chun once more. But Yi Chun, wielding the divine sword, directly launched the heavenly sword divine art again, attacking the giant beast in the sky. Looking from the outer perimeter of the divine heavenly hidden cliff, it was apparent that the cliff head where Yi Chun was located was shrouded entirely, as if in hell by black mist and tribulation clouds, preventing one from seeing the specific situation inside, only hearing the deafening sounds of battle and collisions within. And Yi Chun's divine tribulation was indeed a mighty crisis, far more terrifying by countless times than the heavenly divine venerable's divine tribulation experienced by countless cultivators. Yi Chun first fought using the heavenly sword divine art, then proceeded to unleash several techniques, including the eternal god body, heavenly forbidden flame, and great sun pitha divine sound. Yi Chun even resorted to the killing force of the god-devouring transformation secret technique he recently practiced from the cosmic sea god-devouring great demon clan. In the end, Yi Chun activated the stellar terrestrial spin, his combat power soared to the utmost. He himself seemed like an ancient giant beast. The battle in the sky lasted 3 days. Throughout the 3 days, Yi Chun fought more valiantly, with not a hint of fatigue, facing the endless evolving ancient giant beasts of the divine tribulation, fully unleashing the combat power of numerous techniques to the extreme. One after another, ancient giant beasts were slain by Yi Chun. One batch after another of divine tribulation clouds killing force was swept clean by Yi Chun, and the formidable power of the divine tribulation also surged onto Yi Chun, fiercely blasting toward the second shackle on Yi Chun's body. 3 days. Yi Chun did not know how many ancient giant beasts he had killed, nor how many layers of divine tribulation clouds he had overcome. Yi Chun was deeply immersed in the battle. This battle gave Yi Chun a profound understanding of his numerous techniques. It was the 3rd night of Yi Chun's arrival at the divine heavenly hidden cliff when countless stars illuminated, like beams of light rising between the cliffs. Yi Chen's current opponent had become an 8-headed ancient great demon formed from all the divine tribulation clouds. After Yi Chen gathered his numerous techniques killing force, engaging in hundreds of rounds of fierce battle against the ancient great demon, he finally slew it completely in the field, causing the fallen demon born from the divine tribulation to once again surge boundless divine power towards Yi Chen's body, blasting wildly. This time, Yi Chen finally heard a sound long awaited. Crack! It was the sound of the second shackle breaking. Yi Chen finally shattered the second shackle. At the moment of the shackle breaking, the dark clouds of the divine tribulation quickly transformed into a dense fog, enveloping Yi Chen entirely into the void. Standing in the void, Yi Chen's long hair fluttered, and he looked up toward the higher void heaven. From there, a dazzling column of light descended, enveloping Yi Chen wholly. Within the light column, endless divine power surged, altering Yi Chen's entire signs of life. This was Yi Chen's breakthrough in realm transformation, transforming from earth divine venerable to heavenly divine venerable. In the void heaven, Yi Chen, with fluttering long hair, as his realm transformed, began to gather a radiant divine light at the center of his brow. When all the divine light converged entirely and entered Yi Chen's body, Yi Chen only felt a lightness all over. His life trembled and changed. Heavenly divine venerable. Yi Chen finally experienced a sensation belonging to the heavenly divine venerable's life. Chapter 1137. Chaotic heavenly divine light. When others want to break through from earth divine venerable to heavenly divine venerable, even if it's an ordinary shackle, they must undergo layer upon layer of tempering, continuously breaking through from lower earth divine venerable, middle earth divine venerable, to upper earth divine venerable, striving for heavenly divine venerable. But Yi Chen faced an extremely difficult to break golden shackle, and yet successfully crossed the earth divine venerable threshold within 2 to 3 months, directly stepping into the heavenly divine venerable realm, becoming a true heavenly divine venerable. This is a true peak genius. The divine venerable realm, for such a genius, already belongs to a realm that cannot be obstructed, only requiring a bold stride across. Heavenly divine venerable Yi Chen. From then on, Yi Chen further advanced in the divine venerable realm. This major crisis of divine tribulation realm breakthrough brought Yi Chen boundless benefits. Atop the divine heavenly hidden cliff, in the void above, Yi Chen, with his long hair flying, felt the various changes brought by the realm breakthrough. Firstly, of course, is Yi Chen's own enhancement in essence, qi, and spirit. Just the changes in life itself have greatly enhanced Yi Chen's combat power. Yi Chen's mastery over various divine skills has made a qualitative leap following the enhancement in life. The eternal God body and heavenly forbidden flame, these two techniques Yi Chen had long successfully cultivated, previously only able to perform weakly in the God King realm, saw their potency significantly increased in the earth divine venerable realm. Now in the heavenly divine venerable realm, Yi Chen has gained even greater endurance and capability to perform the eternal God body and heavenly forbidden flame. Just these two cultivation techniques have elevated Yi Chen's combat power immensely. Additionally, the power of comprehension, after transforming into a heavenly divine venerable, Yi Chen, who naturally possesses extraordinary comprehension power, senses new realizations regarding several divine methods he has not yet mastered to perfection, such as the Great Sun Pitha divine sound, God-devouring transformation, heavenly sword divine art, and stellar terrestrial spin. With time to meticulously comprehend them, there shall undoubtedly be significant progress. Of course, the most important benefit is the supreme advantage brought by this major breakthrough. A new heaven-earth innate divine method has descended. Previously, when Yi Chen broke through to earth divine venerable, he received an incomparably powerful heaven-earth innate divine method, the stellar terrestrial spin. This unique divine method significantly boosted Yi Chen's combat power, bringing him immense benefits. Originally, Yi Chen was guessing if breaking through the even more daunting second shackle would bring about another heaven-earth innate divine method. Now, having successfully broken through, Yi Chen knows the answer. He indeed received another unique heaven-earth innate divine method. This divine method is named Chaotic heavenly divine light. Chaotic heavenly divine light. Yichun doesn't know if this divine method carries the word chaos, because he broke through in the primal beginning universe with chaotic primordial chi involved. Anyway, Yichun knows this divine method is definitely extraordinary. Upon sensing the arrival of this new divine method, Yichun immediately began carefully comprehending the divine power of this method. The more he comprehended, the more delighted Yichun became. This chaotic heavenly divine light divine method is not one that enhances combat power. It won't provide Yichun with a combat power boost. However, it is an incredibly powerful recovery divine method that, with progress and cultivation, can increasingly quickly restore the combat power Yichun expends during battle. You must know, in true life and death battles, combat power is determined partly by strength and partly by recovery speed. If the recovery pace is too slow, if exhausted, it can easily lead to downfall, bringing a lethal threat. If one possesses mighty recovery strength, it's practically inexhaustible combat power, making long battles a non-issue. This divine method can accompany Yichun's growth continuously, and according to the chaotic heavenly divine light divine method, even when Yichun reaches higher realms of sovereign, divine master, and master, it can quickly restore depletion. This is an unbelievably powerful divine method, far exceeding Yichun's expectations. Once the chaotic heavenly divine light is successfully cultivated, during battles, it can automatically generate an extremely terrifying divine light to help recover combat power. As the cultivation progresses, the recovery time becomes increasingly faster. The first level is twice as fast as normal recovery time. The second level, 3 times faster. The third level, 10 times faster. When cultivated to its peak, it can even reach the same speed as depletion, enabling continuous possession of the strongest combat power. The more he comprehends, the more Yichun values the rarity of the chaotic heavenly divine light. Yichun can no longer restrain his desire to cultivate it well. He immediately acts. This divine heavenly hidden cliff is not only a treasure land for breakthrough but also for cultivation. Yichun is prepared to claim the great reward for combat power breakthrough at the divine heavenly hidden cliff, naturally wanting to further enhance combat power before the test. By cultivating at the divine heavenly hidden cliff, he can stabilize all the newly obtained techniques from the breakthrough while further cultivating other techniques. With this in mind, Yichun directly flies down from the void and resits cross-legged at the cliff top. Gazing at the clouds forming and dissipating in the sky, Yichun carefully senses the divine chaotic chi of the divine heavenly hidden cliff. After breathing in and out several dozen times, Yichun flips his palm upward, and a divine wave begins to surge in his palm. Responding to this mysterious wave, it is clearly the evolution of the God-devouring transformation secret technique. The first technique Yichun prepares to cultivate is the God-devouring transformation secret technique. Days pass by one after another. Yichun's cultivation at the divine heavenly hidden cliff continues relentlessly. When Yichun has spent a total of 25 days at the divine heavenly hidden cliff for realm breakthrough and cultivation, an astonishing news suddenly spreads throughout Blue Gold City from outside. The 36 paramount powers of Blue Gold City have issued a new expedition task. In 7 days, the 13th Chaos Zone will open. This crucial news has shaken countless divine masters and overlords in Blue Gold City. It's known that past expedition tasks in Blue Gold City could earn Blue Gold points, and divine masters and overlords often participated. However, many of these tasks were issued by other divine master overlords, asking others to complete them or inviting others to complete them together. Expedition tasks issued by the cosmic emperors of Blue Gold City are extremely rare. It's even more exceptional for the prominent figures from the 36 paramount powers to issue a new expedition task together. Thus, when these key figures together issue a new expedition task, it naturally attracts the attention of countless divine master overlords. Moreover, the other piece of information, that the 13th Chaos Zone will open in 7 days, has stirred as much excitement among the divine masters and overlords as the issuance of the expedition task by the paramount powers of the 36 forces. Currently, discussions flood every corner of Blue Gold City. The 13th Chaos Zone, the most distant and mysterious zone from Blue Gold City, Previously, it said that the 13th Chaos Zone was sealed by the Cosmic Emperors, disallowing entry for Divine Master Overlords. Yet this time, in the new expedition task issued by the paramount powers of the 36 forces, we're actually permitted to enter the 13th Chaos Zone. Legend says the 13th Chaos Zone is incredibly dangerous, yet it holds unimaginable fortune. Finally, we have a chance to explore it. Amid the excitement of the Divine Master Overlords, some noticed peculiarities. Don't get excited too soon. The reason those key figures issued this new expedition task is likely for the low-realm geniuses from various universes arriving at Blue Gold City. Did you notice that the task explicitly states that to venture into the 13th Chaos Zone, teams must be formed, and all teams must have 7 members, including 2 overlords, for Divine Masters, and 1 individual below the Divine Master realm. Having overlords and Divine Masters is fine as there are plenty in Blue Gold City. It's easy to find team members. But the requirement to have someone below the Divine Master realm means you have to find one of those 30 low-realm geniuses who came to Blue Gold City. Indeed, these reminders made others feel a subtle shift in their minds and spirits. With only 30 low-realm geniuses in Blue Gold City, doesn't this mean only 30 teams can enter the 13th Chaos Zone? If a team can't find a low-realm genius to join, they won't even qualify to enter the 13th Chaos Zone. The key figures set this requirement specifically, certainly intending to train those low-realm geniuses. No wonder they're even willing to open the 13th Chaos Zone for us to enter. It all makes sense now. Many Divine Master Overlords realized this, tightening their hearts and spirits. With only 30 low-realm geniuses and team formation requiring their participation, it's evident one must quickly find and invite these individuals to form a team. Upon realizing this, many sprang into action. And some, the moment this expedition task was announced, noticed the implications and had already started moving before countless Divine Master Overlords. Heavenly Pole Divine Pool. A famed divine pool for cultivation within Blue Gold City. At this moment, a young man is sitting in meditation inside the divine pool, cultivating. Looking at his face, he is unexpectedly Yushindu, the strongest among the 30 low-realm geniuses. This day, as Yushindu trains, his eyes suddenly snap open. In his location in the Heavenly Pole Divine Pool, suddenly appeared the presence of an overlord. Cousin! Upon seeing this overlord, Yushindu was taken aback. Weren't you in seclusion cultivating? Why have you come to me? The overlord gazed at Yushindu and directly said, "A great opportunity has arrived. The top figures of Blue Gold City are opening the 13th Chaos Zone. Shindu, join me in forming a team. Prepare to venture into the 13th Chaos Zone." 13th Chaos Zone? Yushindu felt a bit bewildered. However, he knew this overlord before him, his cousin, is such an extraordinary figure ranked among the strongest overlords within the primordial god mountain of the 36 forces. Receiving his cousin's invitation, Yushindu naturally wouldn't refuse. Without asking much, he nodded and flew out from the Heavenly Pole Divine Pool. Mystic Cloud Divine Cave. Another extremely precious cultivation site in Blue Gold City. Within the Mystic Cloud Divine Cave, the high-cold demeanor goddess Ning Xiaoxiao, from the universe governed by the second most powerful force, Linglong Divine Land, was meditating on the day of the 13th Chaos Zone task's announcement. In her area, an overlord descended as well. This overlord, like Ning Xiaoxiao, was a female overlord. After softly conversing with Ning Xiaoxiao, with a solemn expression, nodded and left the Mystic Cloud Divine Cave with the female overlord. Besides Yushindu and Ning Xiaoxiao, other low-realm geniuses were also being sought by numerous individuals. Qianli Yuyu, Wu Jinong, Mu Xinxue Yuan Changqin. When these individuals were invited by various enthusiastic Divine Master Overlords, they were somewhat bewildered. Upon learning about the 13th Chaos Zone, these geniuses, who had been cultivating in Blue Gold City for over 100 days and had significantly enhanced their combat power, were all eager and incredibly delighted. At this moment, Yi Chun, sitting in meditation on the divine heavenly hidden cliff, sensed that the jade token on his body began to glow. Senior Yuan Qingzi is looking for me? Seeing the change in the jade token, Yi Chun wore a puzzled expression. Chapter 1138. Chaos Spirit Hall. Back at Chaos Origin Mountain after Yuan Qingzi had a conversation with Yi Chun, he left him with 3 Chaos Profound Extreme Pills and this Contact Jade token. Originally, given Yuan Qingzi's status as an Overlord Divine Master, it would be difficult for him to seek out Yi Chun proactively. At that time, Yuan Qingzi left the Jade token only to allow Yi Chun to reach him easily if he encountered any trouble. Therefore, seeing Yuan Qingzi contact him proactively now took Yi Chun by surprise. Let's see what Elder Yuan Qingzi wants with me. Yi Chun directly used the Jade token to convey his location to Yuan Qingzi. Then Yi Chun stood up directly from the cliff peak. Yi Chun stopped his cultivation partly because Yuan Qingzi contacted him and partly because this phase of his cultivation had also concluded. From the time Yi Chun entered the divine heavenly hidden cliff, around 26 days had passed. Ending his cultivation after 26 days wasn't because Yi Chun hadn't made progress. Rather, his progress this time far exceeded his previous expectations. Perhaps breaking through to the heavenly divine venerable again elevated his entire life's level significantly. This time, Yi Chun's comprehension of several major techniques went exceptionally smoothly. Not only did he further cultivate the heavenly sword divine art to the 7th sword art, but he also increased the combat power of the god-devouring transformation by another level. Even more astonishing, Yi Chun directly increased the combat power amplification of the stellar terrestrial spin to a 4-fold increase. 4-fold increase. This is an unimaginably high level. This directly caused a qualitative leap in Yi Chun's combat power. To know that at Chaos Origin Mountain, by comprehending the 36th Chaos Stone inscription, Yi Chun had already raised his combat power to a 2-fold increase, which resulted in a significant leap in combat power. At that time, Yi Chun stalled just before reaching the 3-fold increase threshold. Unexpectedly, this breakthrough into the heavenly divine venerable brought about new insights into stellar terrestrial spin, successfully breaking through the 3-fold threshold and even directly surpassing the 4-fold increase stage. Perhaps it's because I broke through another shackle, gaining a new heaven-earth innate divine method, chaotic heavenly divine light, which promoted my comprehension of the previous stellar terrestrial spin divine method, resulting in this significant breakthrough. Yi Chun guessed. Regardless of the reason, the result of a massive leap in combat power was most precious, bringing Yi Chun immense joy. After arriving in Blue Gold City of the primal beginning universe, Yi Chun constantly felt his combat power was lacking. After all, in a place full of divine masters, his original power only allowed him to contend with 6-star and 7-star sovereigns, which was woefully inadequate. The 2-fold combat power increase at Chaos Origin Mountain and the cultivation progress in techniques like the Heavenly Sword Divine Art had given Yi Chun the confidence to contend with lower-level divine masters. Now, the 4-fold increase in combat power, along with several divine methods, even gave Yi Chun a sense of confidence that he could fight mid-level divine masters. After all, after cultivating at Chaos Origin Mountain, Yi Chun's combat power reached a rating of 324. Subtracting the 2-fold increase, his original combat power value was 162. Without considering Yi Chun's increase in original combat power during this period, just with the increase changing to 4-fold, Yi Chun's combat power directly rose to 648. Yi Chun, although unsure of the level a combat power rating of 648 represents, knew just from his grasp of his power that it was definitely mid-level divine master-level combat power. Moreover, this doesn't even take into account the cultivation progress at the divine heavenly hidden cliff, nor does it include the most powerful Tai Yu chapter combat power from Yi Chun's primordial star scripture. Yi Chun had tested it. The stellar terrestrial spin cannot actively absorb the Tai Yu chapter's combat power, but if Tai Yu chapter is active, it can absorb the combat power increase from stellar terrestrial spin, enhancing the Tai Yu chapter's combat power dramatically. This can also achieve the effect of a 4-fold combat power increase. If adding Tai Yu chapter's combat power to the mix, Yi Chun's combat power now becomes terrifying. This is Yi Chun's true trump card. Even though strength enhancement in Blue Gold City allows exchanging for blue gold points, Yi Chun would never trade the Tai Yu chapter's combat power. Yi Chen's hard training during this time mainly involved comprehending the space star apertures at the divine heavenly hidden cliff, imprinting another origin star aperture in his body to further enhance the Tai Yu chapter's combat power and cultivating the chaotic heavenly divine light method. In the true God realm, I could contend with divine venerables. In the God King realm, I could contend with sovereigns. Now, in the divine venerable realm, I can finally contend with divine masters. My progress hasn't slowed. After reviewing his various skills, Yi Chun smiled. Strength is the root of all. Wherever one is, possessing great strength allows one to fear nothing. Now, in the perilous primal beginning universe, Yi Chun can finally feel a little more at ease. As Yi Chun's mind raced, the jade token on his body began to glow again. Yi Chun looked at the jade token, sensing the message inside, and felt even more puzzled. Elder Yuan Qingzi is so urgent. He's coming to find me at the divine heavenly hidden cliff? It seems something must have happened. Well, with the great progress in cultivation during this time, it's time to go out and consolidate the cultivation results, laying a foundation for the next step. For now, let's go collect the cultivation breakthrough rewards at the divine heavenly hidden cliff. Yi Chun moved and flew towards the combat power test area below the great divine sky temple at the cliff. After a stick of incense burned, Yi Chun arrived at the foot of the divine heavenly hidden cliff with an astonishing blue gold point reward. What Yi Chun didn't know was that his new combat power fluctuation caused quite a stir among the cosmic emperors who later came to check the data in the special hall in Blue Gold City that displayed the various data of 30 geniuses. Of course, this is a story for later. As one after another low-realm talent ceased their cultivation and were sought out by the divine master overlords, they also began to test their combat power fluctuations, with almost everyone having made new improvements. However, Yi Chen's improvement was so incredible that it absolutely stood out among everyone. Of course, the cosmic emperors were such figures that they wouldn't come looking for Yi Chun specifically. They just silently watched these low-realm talents. Opportunities had already been provided to these low-realm talents by the cosmic emperors. How far they could go depended on their own fortuitous encounters and strength. The cosmic emperors of the 36 major factions would not engage in undue interference. Yi Chun also didn't know that his combat power data was already known by many cosmic emperors, and if he knew, he'd be even more grateful for not having revealed the combat power of the Tai Yu chapter from the primordial star scripture. After all, the fewer people who knew the true power of this trump card, the better. At this moment, Yi Chun had already arrived at the foot of the divine heavenly hidden cliff mountain and spotted Yuan Qingzi waiting outside. At this moment, beside Yuan Qingzi, there was also an overlord and two divine masters. Senior Yuan Qingzi. As Yi Chun greeted Yuan Qingzi and the others eagerly walked over to Yi Chun. This is the super genius Yi Chun from our ancestral god temple's jurisdiction in the universe, whom I've told you about. Friend Yi Chun could even trigger the chaotic primordial chi on 2 Chaos Stone inscriptions at Chaos Origin Mountain. Yuan Qingzi introduced Yi Chun to the others. Apparently, these people had already heard about Yi Chen's deeds from Yuan Qingzi, and although their realms were higher than Yi Chen's, they all greeted Yi Chun courteously and curiously observed him. Yi Chun, these three are also cultivators from the ancestral god temple in Blue Gold City. This overlord is Xuanchuzi Overlord. Like me, he is an overlord of the Greater Tribulation. These two divine masters are Divine Master Yuan Feng and Divine Master Lin Shuang. They are both at the 9th tier of the Divine Master realm. Yuan Qingzi introduced the people next to him to Yi Chun. His words left Yi Chen's mind and spirit shaking. Yi Chun understood that much like the God King realm being divided into upper, middle, and lower, the Divine Venerable realm is divided from 1 to 9 stars. In the Divine Master realm, it's divided from 1 to 9 tiers. The Dominion realm is divided into lower, middle, and greater tribulation stages. Yi Chun did not expect that the people who came were all pinnacle figures of various realms. Not only were Yuan Qingzi at the strongest greater tribulation overlord in the Dominion realm, but the other overlord beside him was of the same realm, and the two divine masters were also of the 9th tier of the Divine Master realm. In comparison, despite Yi Chen's terrifying combat power at the level of Heavenly Divine Venerable, it still seemed very low. Yi Chen's expression of shock made Yuan Qingzi smile as well. Friend Yi Chen, having been deeply cultivating at the divine heavenly hidden cliff, you certainly wouldn't know what happened outside, which is why you find our visit strange. Indeed, another overlord said with a smile. We're all cultivators under the ancestral god temple's jurisdiction. We shouldn't be too unfamiliar. Friend Yi Chen, let me tell you about the events that have transpired during this period. We'll talk as we walk. We just have to go find our two divine master friends anyway. Over half an hour later, when Yi Chen, Yuan Qingzi, Xuanchuzi, the two overlords, divine master Yuan Feng, divine master Lin Shuang, along with the newly found two divine masters, arrived at the Chaos Spirit Hall in Blue Gold City, Yi Chen finally realized why Yuan Qingzi was so eager to find him. Missions issued by the top figures of the 36 major forces? Heading to the 13th Chaos Zone? Only 7 people per team? 2 overlords, for divine masters, 1 person below the divine master realm. It seems just as Senior Yuan Qingzi said. This is an expedition mission specially arranged for low-realm individuals from various universes who came here. After understanding the reason behind everything, Yi Chen quickly inferred many things. Yi Chen. While Yi Chen was curious about what the 13th Chaos Zone, which even the peak overlords Yuan Qingzi and Xuanchuzi yearned for, would be like, he suddenly heard someone calling his name from behind. Yi Chen glanced back and saw the Earth Divine Venerable Qianli Yuyu, whom he met when he first arrived in Blue Gold City, entering the Chaos Spirit Hall, led by several overlords and divine masters. Looking further inside the Chaos Spirit Hall, he saw that several teams had already gathered there. Each team had one low-realm genius from various universes, similar to Yi Chen. Chapter 1139 Ghost Mist. Yi Chen, you've broken through to the heavenly divine venerable realm? When Qianli Yuyu approached Yi Chen, feeling the undisguised aura of his realm, surprise glimmered in his eyes. It's worth knowing that among these geniuses, although they've been in Blue Gold City of the primal beginning universe for over 100 days, breaking through a realm in such a short time is absolutely not simple. After all, during their participation in the stellar domain genius battle in their respective universes, they've generally experienced major breakthroughs, having recently ascended realms. To be able to ascend realms again in such a short time is surely no easy feat. Originally of the Earth Divine Venerable Realm like Yi Chen, Qianli Yuyu was certainly astonished to see Yi Chen already a heavenly divine venerable. Seeing Qianli Yuyu's shocked expression, Yi Chen smiled and nodded, saying, "It's merely the heavenly divine venerable. The realm difference with other universes' sovereign-level geniuses, especially the innumerable divine master overlord realms in Blue Gold City, is still very large." Indeed, mentioning the realm, Qianli Yuyu was also disheartened. Originally, I was considered a genius in our universe, but upon arriving at Blue Gold City, I felt like I belonged to the lowest tier, only slightly higher than the divine king geniuses in realm. However, as he spoke, Qianli Yuyu grew excited again. Yi Chen, this time we have the opportunity to participate in an exploration mission in Blue Gold City, heading to the 13th Chaos Zone. It might be our new opportunity, we must seize it. Yi Chen nodded, his eyes bright. He came to the primal beginning universe to enhance his strength. The 13th Chaos Zone, long yearned for by Yuan Qingzi and Xuanchuzi, now had the chance to enter, and Yi Chen was certainly going to seize this opportunity. While Yi Chen and Qianli Yuyu conversed, divine master overlords from various teams, quite a few familiar with each other, also engaged in conversation. It wasn't long before 30 teams, inclusive of low-realm geniuses from various universes, all arrived at the Chaos Spirit Hall. Among these teams, 2 were the most attention-grabbing. One was the team from Primordial God Mountain, ranking first among the 36 major forces. Their 2 masters and 4 divine masters were all individuals at the pinnacle of their respective realms, with sovereign realms Yushindu having been discussed by numerous divine master overlords, likely the strongest among the 30 low-realm geniuses this time, drawing a vast amount of attention. The second team garnering immense attention was composed entirely of female cultivators. Yet, even though all were women, no one dared to underestimate them. Because they hailed from Linglong Divine Land, ranking second among the 36 major forces. The 2 female overlords and 4 female divine masters were also pinnacle existences in their realms. Even Sovereign Realms Ning Xiaoxiao garnered the attention of countless teams due to her aloof beauty. By comparison, the Ancestral God Temple team where Yichun was, ranked third among the 36 forces, attracted a fair amount of attention, yet many people lowered their estimation of the Ancestral God Temple team because of Yichun. After all, in these people's eyes, although the Ancestral God Temple team's Divine Master Overlords were also pinnacle-level powerhouses in their realms, among the low-realm geniuses, Yichun was merely in the Heavenly Divine Venerable realm, appearing too low when compared to Yushindu and Ning Xiaoxiao, not to mention many other forces low-realm geniuses outperform him. This caused them to significantly decrease their valuation of the Ancestral God Temple team's comprehensive strength. Of course, although most of the 30 teams meeting the requirements for the 13th Chaos Zone exploration were formed primarily by low-realm geniuses of the same force, there were a few teams mixed from different forces. As different teams were appraising each other, suddenly, a cosmic emperor descended in the assembly area within Chaos Spirit Hall. Lord Emperor Xian of Primordial God Mountain. Unexpectedly, he's appeared here. One of the masters present recognized this cosmic emperor, exclaiming in low tones. Yet Lord Emperor Xian didn't pay attention to this master's exclamation. His gaze directly turned to the 30 teams within Chaos Spirit Hall. Then, with a flash of divine light in his hand, 30 command tokens appeared. Each team must send a representative to record the information of the team members onto the command token. With a surge of divine light in Lord Emperor Xian's hand, the 30 command tokens floated in the void. In an instant, the strongest master from each team stood out, flying to a command token to record the identity information of 7 team members onto it. When the command tokens returned to Lord Emperor Xian's hands, his divine eye surveyed between the command tokens and everyone present, making even the strongest masters feel their entire mind and spirit being scrutinized by this cosmic emperor. This sensation made everyone's mind and spirit tremble with fear. Indeed, these are the 30 low-realm cultivators and divine master overlords allocated by Blue Gold City. Only when Lord Emperor Xian spoke again did the trembling sensation vanish. His words hinted that he was probing everyone's identities to check for discrepancies. Lord Emperor Xian's words gathered everyone's attention on him. The 30 teams in the field, totaling 210 people, all knew that Lord Emperor Xian valued this exploration highly. Personally verifying identities likely means there's something important to arrange. Indeed, after examining everyone, Lord Emperor Xian spoke again. This expedition to the 13th Chaos Zone, where your 30 teams have successfully formed, is an opportunity for you, and also a test. I remind you that the 13th Chaos Zone is extremely dangerous. I have had all your information recorded in the law plaque precisely to determine whether you will succumb to the perils of the 13th Chaos Zone. Once you arrive at the 13th Chaos Zone, the only ones you can rely on are yourself or your companions. Whether you survive depends entirely on your own fortune. Our Cosmic Emperor will not interfere in your adventure. Before heading towards the 13th Chaos Zone, I will distribute 2 items to you. Whoosh! Lord Emperor Xian extended his palm, and 2 radiant objects appeared in his palm. The first item is the map of the 13th Chaos Zone. The map contains various explanations regarding the 13th Chaos Zone, and each of you will receive a copy. As Lord Emperor Xian spoke, one of the 2 radiant objects instantly transformed into 210 beams of divine light, flying towards each person in the field. Yichun reached out and grabbed a beam of divine light. When he immersed his mind and spirit into this divine light, a vast map emerged in the glow, detailing the various hazardous zones within the 13th Chaos Zone, along with descriptions of potential demons and treasures, meticulous and comprehensive. The second item is the Spirit Communication Clasp. Each team will possess a Spirit Communication Clasp that can sense each other. The 13th Chaos Zone can only be accessed through a special teleportation array, and once inside, your team is prone to dispersal. The Spirit Communication Clasp allows you to sense your companions within a certain range, and you can also call for help if danger arises. After Lord Emperor Xian introduced the second item, the second radiant object similarly turned into numerous beams of divine light, flying towards everyone. After tucking away the map, Yichun directly followed Lord Emperor Xian's instructions to recognize ownership of the Spirit Communication Clasp by dripping blood. Upon recognizing ownership of the Spirit Communication Clasp, Yichun immediately sensed the Spirit Communication Clasp held by Yuan Qingzi and others around him. However, since they hadn't entered the 13th Chaos Zone yet, and the 7 members of the team hadn't separated, Yichun was unsure of how far the Spirit Communication Clasp could sense within the Chaos Zone. He would have to probe further when the time comes. After distributing the 2 items, Lord Emperor Xian announced several matters. Finally, he emphasized, in this expedition to the 13th Chaos Zone, whether you slay demons or gather treasures within, there are rewards. You can check the map for specific reward rules. Meanwhile, your rewards are divided into individual rewards and team rewards. Upon returning to Blue Gold City, individual rewards will be ranked according to those below Divine Master, and Dominion Realm. Team rewards will be based on each team's total score. Therefore, every member of each team must put forth their efforts. Alright, let's go. Everyone follows me to the teleportation array to prepare for transmission to the 13th Chaos Zone. Phew, 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 phew. Led by Lord Emperor Xian, countless figures soared and flew out of the Chaos Spirit Hall. Upon arriving outside the hall, Lord Emperor Xian enveloped everyone with his vast divine power. Yichun only felt an overwhelming might carrying him across numerous zones, and after a dozen breaths, he found himself in an immense basin suffused with a primitive aura. Before him in the basin, a colossal array emerged. This is the teleportation array leading to the 13th Chaos Zone. Step into the grand formation in sequence for transmission to the 13th Chaos Zone. The first team to teleport, Primordial God Mountain Team. Lord Emperor Xian's booming voice echoed in the basin, and the 7 members of the Primordial God Mountain Team promptly stepped into the teleportation divine formation, disappearing instantly under the gaze of other teams. Next was the Linglong Divine Land Team. The 7 members of Ning Xiaoxiao similarly vanished in an instant. Then it was Yi Chen's team from the Ancestral God Temple. Upon hearing Lord Emperor Xian announce the start of teleportation, Yi Chen exchanged serious glances with the other members of his team and together stepped into the teleportation array. In the next moment, Yi Chen felt an unparalleled chaos aura enveloping his entire being, causing him to feel dizzy and disoriented. When he regained clarity, he had arrived in a new territory shrouded in black mist. After scanning his surroundings and cross-referencing the map, Yi Chen's face suddenly changed. He had identified the location of teleportation. The position where Yi Chen was teleported was surprisingly one of the 3 major danger zones on the outskirts of the 13th Chaos Zone, the Chaos Ghost Mist Realm. Chapter 1140 Ghost Flower, Death Bee. According to the map instructions given by Lord Emperor Xian, the periphery of the 13th Chaos Zone consists of 4 types of zones: Safe Zone, Danger Zone, Death Zone, and Unknown Zone. Within the Safe Zone, whether it's someone below the level of a Divine Master or a Divine Master Overlord, it's difficult to encounter life-threatening situations, making it relatively very safe. There are many such zones on the periphery of the 13th Chaos Zone. As for the Danger Zone, there are a total of 3 areas. These 3 dangerous areas are extremely large, and the dangers within are countless. Perhaps the danger encountered is only a threat to those below the Divine Master realm, or perhaps even a master would find themselves in crisis. How far one can venture in such areas and what kind of gains can be achieved depend entirely on luck and strength. Initially, Yi Chen thought he would be transported to the largest safe zone, but unexpectedly, he was directly transported to a danger zone. Although the treasures in the danger zone are more valuable than those in the safe zone, if one encounters the most terrifying demons that can pose a threat even to a master, it would be a great crisis. Although Yi Chen had the life-saving scroll of the Cosmic Emperor level, awarded as the first prize in the Stellar Domain Genius Battle provided by the Ancestral God Temple before entering the Primal Beginning universe, once this life-saving scroll was used up, he would lose the qualification to roam in the primal beginning universe. Yi Chun certainly didn't want to waste it in the outermost area of the 13th Chaos Zone. I hope I don't encounter the highest level of danger in this Chaos Ghost Mist realm, Yi Chun thought quietly. I can still handle dangers at the Divine Master level. Yi Chun pondered while remaining vigilant of his surroundings, simultaneously deeply imprinting in his mind the demons and treasures that might exist in the Chaos Ghost Mist realm as mentioned in the map. Besides the safe zones, which are the most numerous, and the 3 large areas of danger zones, the remaining Death Zone and Unknown Zone are even more perilous. Of course, in the periphery of the 13th Chaos Zone, there is only one Death Zone called the Taboo Extreme Mysterious Valley. This area, upon entry, is rumored to cause one to become lost within, and even a master would find it challenging to make their way out. Obviously, the Taboo Extreme Mysterious Valley occupies the smallest area in the 13th Chaos Zone, with the lowest probability of being transported into it. As for the Unknown Zone, unlike the Death Zone, Taboo Extreme Mysterious Valley, which is a fixed existence with a fixed danger level, the Unknown Zone is a unique phenomenon within the 13th Chaos Zone. A special area, never explored before, can suddenly appear within the 13th Chaos Zone. The dangers inside are extremely unstable, perhaps very safe for a period, or perhaps even a cosmic emperor would find it very dangerous to be within. Obviously, the treasures inside are the most precious, and it often contains never-before-seen rare treasures. However, the occurrence of unknown zones is completely unpredictable, and the map provided by Lord Emperor Xian also indicates that even cosmic emperors exploring the 13th Chaos Zone find it hard to encounter one. Even if encountered, it is in the deeper zones of the 13th Chaos Zone, with almost no unknown zone on the periphery. Comparatively, although Yi Chun entered one of the 3 danger zones, not being transported to the Death Zone or the Unknown Zone was relatively lucky. Yi Chun didn't know where others had been transported to. After imprinting in his heart the demons and treasures that might exist within the Chaos Ghost Mist Zone, Yi Chun directly used the Spirit Communication clasp to start sensing the other members of his team. However, Yi Chun sensed for a long time, but couldn't detect the presence of others. Evidently, the other 6 members of his team were incredibly far from the Chaos Ghost Mist Zone, and he couldn't sense them at all. In this situation, Yi Chun had no choice but to act on his own. The dark mist shrouded the entire Chaos Ghost Mist Zone. Only Yi Chun, with his incredibly strong divine sense, could discern the specific directions within the Chaos Ghost Mist. If it were an ordinary person or even a strong true god level, they probably wouldn't be able to see anything clearly within the Chaos Ghost Mist, completely in the dark. However, within the Chaos Ghost Mist, there were mysterious celestial rules, making flying impossible and forcing one to walk. Yi Chun proceeded cautiously within the Chaos Ghost Mist. Whether it was due to good luck or something else, he walked for half an hour without encountering even a shadow of a demon, facing no danger. On the contrary, within this half hour, Yi Chun successfully found a precious treasure mentioned on the map, a black extreme ghost flower. The black extreme ghost flower, according to the map, is a unique flower within the Chaos Ghost Mist Zone. The fragrance of this flower has the wonderful effect of calming the mind and dispelling inner demons, proving beneficial even to the strong in the cosmic sea, and serves as a key ingredient in refining many precious breakthrough pills. A single black extreme ghost flower, once turned in after exploration, can directly be exchanged for 3 million blue gold points. The black extreme ghost flowers found by Yi Chun were a total of 3, enough to exchange for 9 million blue gold points. For a master, 9 million blue gold points may not seem much, but for Yi Chun it was absolutely astronomical. He had never received such a huge blue gold points reward in all his training and breakthroughs. Surely, exploration is the easiest way to boost blue gold points. And this is just the beginning. Yi Chun had already achieved some significant gains. While Yi Chun was hoping to find more precious treasures, as he proceeded towards the central zone of the 13th Chaos Zone, he suddenly heard the sound of footsteps. Is there someone else? Yi Chun quickly headed towards the source of the footsteps. The sources of the footsteps, apparently having heard Yi Chun's movement, also moved towards Yi Chun. As the 2 sides approached, Yi Chun's side remained relatively calm, while the three on the other side all showed expressions of great disappointment. Among the three, there was someone Yi Chun actually recognized. Speaking of which, Yi Chun had a minor conflict with him in the past. This person was the very genius Wu Jinong, a 3-star sovereign, whom Yi Chun had rebuked when he first arrived in Blue Gold City, regarding Qianli Yuyu. Beside Wu Jinong were a 7th-level divine master and another 2-star sovereign. It seemed they had met up early on. When Yi Chun recognized Wu Jinong clearly recognized Yi Chun as well. I thought we might encounter a divine master or a master, but unexpectedly, it's just a heavenly divine venerable, Wu Jinong said, casting a cold glance at Yi Chun. Clearly, seeing that the person they encountered wasn't someone of high realm, Wu Jinong was unwilling to explore alongside Yi Chun. While Wu Jinong spoke, the other two didn't hide their disappointed expressions at all, nor did they intend to invite Yi Chun to join them. Clearly, in their eyes, Yi Chun, at the heavenly divine venerable realm, wouldn't be of much help to them, and on the contrary, might even hold them back. Seeing the expressions of the three, Yi Chun could easily guess their thoughts. Perhaps if they encountered a master, the three would enthusiastically plead for the master to take them along. Yi Chun shook his head, didn't pay any mind to the three, and simply continued walking forward. Yi Chun's actions left the three momentarily stunned. Then, Wu Jinong sneered, "Heh, this seems to be the genius from the ancestral god temple, named Yi Chun. At least he knows his limits and won't hold us back by acting alone. Let's go. Ignore him, we should keep moving together." The three also lifted their steps and continued forward. Inside the Chaos Ghost Mist, there are numerous roads leading to the central realms, and soon they lost sight of Yi Chun's figure. While walking, the 7th-level divine master beside Wu Jinong suddenly sensed something amiss, his expression changing abruptly. "Not good. There's danger." Whoosh! Almost the instant he spoke, a large swarm of demons sped toward them from ahead. Previously, the three had encountered some dangers during their journey but had managed to deal with them. Even the 7th-level divine master didn't get nervous. But this time, upon seeing these rapidly approaching demons, even the experienced 7th-level divine master was visibly alarmed. Ghost Sha Ming Bees. The 7th-level divine master immediately recognized that the demons rushing toward them were the Ghost Sha Ming Bees, one of the most terrifying creatures in the Chaos Ghost Mist realm. These Ghost Sha Ming Bees, not only unaffected by the Chaos Ghost Mist realm, can fly freely within it at high speeds, but more frighteningly, they always act collectively. Individual Ghost Sha Ming Bees generally have sovereign-level killing force, and a large swarm can pose significant danger even to a divine master. Even the most terrifying Ghost Sha Ming Bee Queen, once encountered, can annihilate many masters. Fortunately, the number of Ghost Sha Ming Bees flying toward them wasn't too large, only a few dozen. If it had been over 100, the three would have faced a massive crisis. Yet even with just a few dozen, and no queen among them, they posed an immense threat to the trio. In an instant, the dozens of Ghost Sha Ming Bees reached the trio, dividing into 3 groups, and swarming toward them. These Ghost Sha Ming Bees, each about fist-sized, had jet-black wings and blood-colored patterns on their bodies. Their attacks could unleash a bizarre blood needle, and once it pierced a cultivator, it would transform into a terrifying Sha mist, solidifying the cultivator's divine power and even causing their divine body to rot. Wu Jinong and the other two had evidently read the map descriptions of the Ghost Sha Ming Bees. Seeing the 3 swarms heading towards them, they quickly mobilized their defensive divine power to fend off the blood needles shot by the Ghost Sha Ming Bees. The 7th-level divine master confronted over 50 Ghost Sha Ming Bees, but with his immense combat power, he could still hold his ground, and with his attacks, one by one the Ghost Sha Ming Bees fell by his hand. But on the other side, Wu Jinong and the other 2-star sovereign, despite being geniuses of different universes, were struggling to cope with the Ghost Sha Ming Bees in the Chaos Ghost Mist. When the two barely managed to kill a few Ghost Sha Ming Bees, something horrifying happened. Perhaps the deaths of the Ghost Sha Ming Bees agitated the other swarms, as the 3 suddenly saw another massive group of Ghost Sha Ming Bees appear out of nowhere and attack them. This new swarm of ghost Sha Ming bees numbered over 100. Such a commotion caused even the previously stable 7th-level Divine Master to turn pale. After shouting to Wu Jinong and the other one, he immediately fled for his life first. Seeing even the 7th-level Divine Master fleeing from the battle with the ghost Sha Ming bees, Wu Jinong and the other 2-star sovereign dared not linger. They too hastily used their quick escape techniques, desperately fleeing.